the bigger play where the rubber meets the road, and we get straight to it. And today I got to ask you a quick question. Why is marriage on the decline? Why are men opting out and not getting on that knee? If we didn't do 4 hours last night, I'll pay for line. 4 hours, possibly a little more. We talked so deep about it, I was tapping out. But these conversations is intense. They major, they informative, they comedic, they insightful, and they harsh. Tap in. Let us know what you think.
See, I just said I'm married. So that's why I kind of was intrigued by the topic.
Oh, why is marriage on the decline? You can talk to us about you being a married sister. How you doing, Miss Angelita, for you? You married? Talk to her.
Well, I met my husband when I was 14, so I know that's not really a reality for we was together since high school. We were high school sweethearts.
Oh, hold on, young lady. You wait 1 second. You wait right there. I got something for you. Let me do this for you. This gonna be for you right here. You just gotta give me 2 seconds. Right now, you gave me 1, 2. There you go. All right.
That's
Okay.
good stuff.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Congratulations. So you've been married a long time.
a long time. We got married when I was 18. I'm 32. So
Wow. Okay, you've been married a nice little while.
and we were together in high school since our sophomore year.
So why is it that a lot of people not getting married in their they grammar school or high school sweethearts like you did?
I think one thing, because I know there's a lot of women will say and they're leaving because they're not happy anymore and like just off of emotions. And I think that when you're building something, when you're building a family and a foundation, you know, one thing you can't be is selfish, especially as a woman. Like you have to think about your family, those children, your husband first. And I feel like when women say, "Okay, I'm leaving because they're, I'm not happy," I feel like that's a very selfish thing to do. And happiness is a fleeting emotion. You can be happy one minute and not happy and sad the next moment. So I feel like it's a lot of selfishness. I think that there's a lot of propaganda. I'm traditional, so I'm a stay-at-home mom and wife. I think that there's a lot of women who look down on that and don't want to take the leadership, that don't want their husband to take the leadership role, and there's conflict within that. And then just the superficialness of it, like people aren't transparent with their partners. They don't really know their partners. They just see them who they potentially could be or who they want them to be. They don't understand, like, when you accept that man, you accept him for his good and his bad. And I believe one thing my mom told me, you don't it's not like I'm trying to change him. You don't try to change him. Who he is who he is. And of course you can always help him be better, but that's who you accept and that's who you choose to marry. That's all.
Oh, come on. You talking your talk. Come on. You give us some good insight, sister. Because maybe you can help us get on the right track. Because we on track. We all on track. Who they laughing? Come on, Lake. We on track. See,
Yeah,
that train running, that's on track.
but I will say this. I will say that it all bears with the woman, man. The woman is the key and the backbone. Any man that say they married for over 7 to 8, 10 years is like that. You best believe that woman's tolerance has been there. And I mean, we we do things, we mess up. Sometimes we fall down and everything like that. If anybody is married for a long length of time, then that woman is the liaison between the kids and everything. That woman is there. That's the difference.
I like
That's
you,
the
Lake. You
difference.
always keeping it 100, bro. I really appreciate
It's
you,
just,
man. I
yeah,
really
it's no
appreciate you being
women.
in the space, man. But as a brother, you give a different perspective. That's why I always push back on you, because I respect. I don't push back on people I respect. Go ahead, sisters or brothers, whoever want to talk.
I think Angelita was here first.
Miss Angelita, come on, Nita. Can you chime in? Cause you been gone, Miss Angelita. For you came, now you not. We gonna block you because you came and left. I ain't seen you in a week.
Hey,
Where you been, sister? I thought you were rocking with her, sister. You left her. Going, you and Angelita, you there?
she got to handle her
Yeah,
marital duties, man. She
Oh,
can't be
somebody,
rocking with us
somebody
all the
came
time. She
up.
got a
What's
house
up,
to take
Mr.
care of.
Cool?
I'm here.
I like when the
Oh,
brothers came up. What's up,
I
brother?
know. Look at the
He can't
cool.
even hear me, brother. Oh, he can't.
What's going on?
Oh, what's up? I was saying hi to you, man.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah, I was just they were
Uh,
saying
An-
why is marriage on a decline?
I think Anjanita was talking.
Nigga over there laughing. Ain't nobody thinking about us.
Anjanita, you're not talking?
Yeah, I'm talking. Look, I love they call me pick me. Look, she over there. She said, "Come on, let's
What you
go."
got to say to the topic? Because you left us
Well,
hanging. I ain't seen you in a week. Talk to a part of the squad.
well, I just think that the level of expectations are has shifted um in this uh generation and during this time. And so I think that that has a lot to do with the decline of marriage. And similar to what Rose just said, I think that he is definitely on point with you two. He's definitely on point with what he said regarding
You underwater, baby.
I'm underwater.
I
Oh,
told you about that damn Boost Mobile.
okay, okay. Yeah, yep, that's my opinion. That's it. That's all I got.
Where your man at, girl? Put him on the phone.
You didn't say nothing.
You ain't say nothing. Angelina just got. Angelina, something wrong with Angelina.
You
Angelina
said that's
left.
my
She
opinion.
must got a
That's
man.
my
She
opinion.
must got her a man.
You generally have something to say. You didn't say nothing.
And you called out. Come
Hey,
on, let's
hey,
let the cool.
how's
Let's let
everybody
the
doing?
cool speak. We ain't
How's
heard
everybody?
from the cool.
How's everybody doing? Yeah, she didn't say anything.
What's up, Melion, buddy? How you doing? We want to let the cool speak. He was here, then we're gonna let Melion go. Hey, they called me.
Hello, hey, what's up,
You
man?
over
How you
there?
doing?
Come on, brother.
Oh, okay, all right, all right. Yeah, honestly, man, I think marriage is on a decline because women don't want to be married no more. I heard the guy earlier, and he said that the reason why a lot of marriages lasted was because the woman put up with a lot of stuff. I guess, I guess that's one opinion. Uh, but if you look at it today, most women, if you listen to them speak, it's almost like they got a low key disdain for a man's leadership, and a lot of them, I don't think really want to actually be a wife. I think some of them want the protection and the provision monetarily, the provision monetarily, and the protection if needed. But I just don't think most women want to be wives these days, and that's fine. You know, even if somebody's been married before, I don't even think I want to be a husband again
Uh-oh.
because I don't want to take that risk.
What
Mm-mm.
what what risk you talking about, brother?
The risk of being a faithful husband, being there for her, and her waking up on a Wednesday morning saying, "You've been a great man, but I'm just not happy, and I want to do something else."
Mm.
Uh, and I'm going to take half of
Wow.
this, half of that, half of that, and there's nothing you can do about it. You
How
got to
you
eat
do-
it,
how you doing, brother?
Wow.
Huh?
huh?
I
He
said,
asked
how
how
you
you
doing?
doing.
Oh, I'm doing great.
How long this been?
I've been doing great for a long time.
No, I'm saying how long it's been since you got a divorce?
Oh, I've been divorced for about 9 years.
How was it when it was good?
It was good when it was good. It was real good.
So you rather say you don't want to do it again as opposed to the good part of it?
The thing is, I honestly believe most women today, not all, but a good majority of women don't know how to be wives and don't want to be wives.
Mm.
And when you hear wives speak, actual wives speak, what are they called?
Pygmies.
There we go.
Pygmies. So can I say this? I think marriage is on the decline. One, I agree with you, cool, that women are smelling themselves. I put it that way, right? Women have gone to college. Women got doctorates and masters, and they just smelling themselves, and they hanging around other women who got it going on to them, right? And they're comparing their lives to a lot of these famous people, right? They're on these TikToks, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, and everybody got it going on. Everybody got money. Everybody looks like they're enjoying life and having fun. Women have bought into a fairy tale of life, right? They've allowed this social media, in my opinion, to become their god. So they're comparing everything to what people have on social media. You call Facebook, people call it fake book, because everybody's life is perfect. And that's not real. TikTok, I've never met so many rich people in my life. Everybody on TikTok got money. I've never met so many doctors, so many psychologists, so many everything until I came to TikTok. Everybody has it going on TikTok. So I think a lot of women have sold themselves a bill of goods of perfection. Marriage is not perfect. Relationships are not perfect. You're not going to be in love every single day, right? There's not roses every single day. You're going to go through some highs and lows. You're going to fall in love, out of love, but you're going to always love, right? And I think women think that it's supposed to be this fairy tale, and they have sold that to themselves, and so they say, I won't accept anything less. I'm not dumbing down. I'm not trying to. I deserve. Well, what do you deserve, sis? And so I think that women have created this list of nothing, and in the process have kind of, as I said in the last live that the host had, they've outpriced themselves. They think they're worth a lot more than what they are. And so they're not wanting to marry because they're wanting this six figure, 6'4", six-pack man, all of his hair, sometimes bald, want that beard. We loving the beards now. And the bald, yeah, you doing it, and the bald, can smex when they want him to, only when they want him to, right? Not, when he wants it. And they want to be spoiled. They want to keep their money. They want you to spend all of their money. So everything is about them. They're selfish. And so I think that's why the marriage is on decline, because women these days are selfish. They don't know how to be in a relationship anymore. And I land.
I just want to answer one question. A woman asked in a comment, who teaches a boy how to be a husband? And this is something, I have two daughters. And one thing I saw when my daughters was growing up that I had to make sure is that I teach my daughters how to be a wife. One thing about boys growing up into manhood, we're taught as young boys to respect females. No matter, I grew up with my mom and dad, but even if a boy grow up with his mom or dad or either or, he's always taught to be respectful for women, open doors for women. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Boys are always taught that girls are sweet and girls are special. But when we look at how girls are taught up until womanhood, is be afraid of men. Men will grape you. Men will touch you. Men are nasty. Uh, men, you need to learn how to survive without a man. If we really look at how a lot of us raise our daughters, we actually raise our daughters to not like men and to try to live in a world or make themselves to the point where they can live in this world without a man. But then we also teach our sons how to be nice and respectful to women. So now what happens when they grow up? And I think that's another issue that we're having. We're raising our daughters to be hard workers and look for partners, but we're not raising them to be wives.
I'm sorry, I know there's other
You're
people.
raising your daughters to be wives.
Yes.
So how is it that a man can raise a daughter to be a wife, but a wife or a female cannot raise a son to be a man? Help me understand that one.
Because
Okay, no
women don't
problem.
know how to
So,
regulate themselves.
so first of all, what I said was both parents, in a lot of instances, don't raise their daughters to be wives. They actually, even I've heard men say it too, be afraid of boys. Boys are nasty. Boys, da, 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 da. So what they do is they raise their daughters to get degrees, make money, and be afraid of men. Uh, the reason why I saw that, and that's why I said, you know what? I don't want to raise my daughters to be afraid of men. I'm a good man. I want to raise them to be wives and good women, and that's a choice I had to make when I look at how everybody else raised their sons and daughters. No, a woman can raise her son to be a good man and a husband. The thing is, they raise their daughters to be something else.
May I interject?
So
Sorry.
Help you out with that. Who is, I can't see your whole name.
Hold on one second, Earth. I just had a question for him. So I want to make sure I understand, Cool. You feel that a man can teach a girl to be a wife.
yes,
And do you feel a woman can teach a son to be a husband?
yeah. If she if
That's what I
she
wanted to know.
yeah, if she makes an effort to, yes.
Mm.
Can
But
I
I think
interject
the
on?
the real problem is most people aren't teaching their daughters to be wives.
May I interject on that part real fast? I feel like it definitely does take both. I know for me, my mother passed, but all the women in my life, my grandma, my aunties, I have two sisters, they're married. I'm married. I feel like for me personally, I agree with you. I think that you are raised to be a wife, but that doesn't mean that a woman who wasn't raised to be a wife cannot be a wife or a good wife. But I believe that it took my father and my mother both showing me different aspects of a marriage and how it works. I think they call me pick me. I think you were like getting on to what I was saying too, like, everybody thinks it's just fairy tales and rainbows and butterflies. And being as though I've seen like everything and I've went through so much, like I said, since I've been with this man since I was 14, like you go through a lot of marriage and you don't give up. And it's not just always, rainbows and butterflies. But for me personally, like my father showed me what a husband does, and my mother showed me what a wife does. And then I had other influences in my life. I think it would be hard if you were like solo, if you were doing it on your own. Not saying that it couldn't be done, but I definitely believe that it will be hard. And I think that that's why another reason why marriage is on the decline, because you do have a lot of single parents trying to do it on their own, and it's hard for them to teach a woman or their daughters, I'm sorry, how to be a wife when they may not even know how to be a wife themselves, and especially a father. Like it may be one standard too for them that they're not able to incorporate into that upbringing that's needed. I think two parents are needed to fully encompassate what is needed.
No, absolutely. I agree with my if I speak. I'm just going right now. Rosé, you actually said that was a really good point right there. Um, like you, it's pretty much leading by example. You know, um, seeing the qualities in a man, and that's through your father, which is the first example because you're seeing this the way you treat your mother, right, and vice versa, the way your mother treats your father. You know, and usually it starts with that, and and to add to what Cole was saying, it's pretty much just like a father is protective over his daughter because as a man, he understands, the influences that other men outside of, that he has no control of when she gets to a certain age, right? The influences and the lies that could be told to a woman just using by, 'cause, women are emotional creatures. They lead by love, they lead by reactions, right? And just being overprotective, and vice versa as a mother, she don't want, her son, dealing with, understanding from a woman's standpoint, the type of woman that can, mess with your son, have be more emotionally attached to a woman that doesn't really, deserve him, or ruin his quality as a man, So uh, I would just pretty much agree with Rose, it all comes from the parents, the influences that they have. You feel me? And just the opposites attract.
That's what I wasn't understanding how a man can raise a daughter to be a wife. I don't think women can raise men to be. I don't think women can raise a boy to be a man because they've never been a man, and we're totally different. Men and women are totally different. And Khaled, is it Khaled? You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
mentioned about we're very emotional. Men are not emotional. They just aren't. We're like so I don't know and I thought about if I had a son, I'd be teaching him to wipe his little thing off when and men shake, and I'm like I just little things that we are the nuances that we have that are just so different. I don't know what it is to be a man. So therefore, I can't tell my a son. I don't luckily I didn't have a son. I had a daughter, but she had her dad, so we raised together. But I didn't have that issue with she got both sides. But if I had a son and we
Yeah.
weren't together, and I thought about this, if I had a son and we broke up, I would have allowed him to raise the son because I don't feel that be I can teach him about what he goes through. I remember my aunt has four boys and they're grown now, but she used to tell me about when they would all wake up and her husband. They woke up all sticking out, all of them, and I would be like, "What the heck is that?" Because I'm like, "What is going on? Something's wrong." My point is that I don't have that issue as a female. It's just those little nuances that are normal for you all that I wouldn't know. So how can I teach him about that? How can I explain to him about that
Yeah.
as a
Cool.
woman? Just like with us when we have our what is it, the scarlet letter, the A that comes, that whatever, the river that runs through us that comes every month.
Yeah.
You can't explain that. That's never happened to you. So I don't understand that, cool. Not
Yeah.
saying you're not
Oh,
doing a good job, okay?
Yeah.
Don't I
no.
just don't
So
understand that dynamic.
I totally understand what you're saying, and let me give you a little bit more information. So, like my baby girl, she's 21. She's when we got divorced, she wanted to come live with me immediately. I told her that she at least needed to stay with her mom till she was 16. Because, like you said, yes, there were certain things because she hadn't got her monthly yet, and there was some other things that I knew I couldn't help her with. So once she turned 16, she packed up all her stuff and moved in with me. So yes, you're totally right. And me and my ex-wife have a great co-parenting situation. But yes, there was a lot of stuff that my ex-wife needed to teach her before she came to live with me for
Enough
sure.
said. Enough said. You've explained it all. I thought it was just you as a single parent and the mother wasn't in the life, but you've just explained the mother is in the life, so you guys are co-parenting, which is different.
Now, you said men aren't emotional. Uh just a little insight. Actually, we are. We're very emotional. The only thing is we're taught to hide our emotions. So we have to cry in the dark. We have to vent to our homeboys, or we crash out. That's being emotional. I would say men are very emotional, actually. It's just that we're told we can't be in public, if I'm just going to be honest.
Or pretty much kind of like, be way too emotional about it, right? A strong reaction. All right. And then to add to they call, so it's not necessarily how to, right? But it's more of an emotion type of thing, right? I feel like a lot of the things is like when you're watching somebody, seeing your parents, right? Like seeing how your dad treats you, like how a father would treat his daughter, right? A lot of that people are attracted to something that they're familiar with love, right? And where do you get the most love is from your parents. Like a father would treat her daughter. So not even thinking about it, a woman getting that got like really good love from her father will be attracted to a man who has some similarities, some certain characteristics, smiling, saying good words. You feel me? When he's mad, he instead of like being like aggressive or reacting. He uses his common sense. He talks to you with, with a calm voice. The same way our father would, towards his daughter. And a lot of that is literally it's just in there. You feel me? Like it's not something that is taught, but it's more of something that's more like given as far as an emotional thing. You feel me? So but I agree with you. You can't, a father can't tell a girl how to be a girl necessarily, but how to, when she gets to a certain age without even thinking about how the father explaining it, you feel me? She could, see your characteristics, understand the difference between a really good man, a caring man, or a man who's only using his words and his money, to lead you on. If that makes sense.
Just one more thing, just to clarify, cool. If and Khaled, if I
Yeah.
said men aren't emotional, I should clarify and say they aren't as emotional as women because we cry, and I do believe men are emotional, and they have feelings, and they get upset, their feelings get hurt, and that's not recognized enough. So I want to clarify that. I just feel that you aren't as emotional as we are. That's all.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I feel like we just have to have self control. You know.
Yeah.
Um, that's about it. It's like what both, what Cool say, especially in the outside, right? If we overreact, a lot of people can see the weakness in a man and can take advantage of that, right? So somebody would just say any type of word or say anything to me and I react to that. Okay, now that they know how to get under my skin, you feel me, and use that against me, you know?
It's funny that you said that, Kyla, because so
Yeah,
my husband's grandmother just passed, and
that's the case.
it's like the thing where y'all were saying like hiding the emotion, like he was very upset with it, and then like the day that it happened, like he went in the shower and like cried. So then I went in there with him to let him know like you're not alone. You don't have to hide how you feel about this, and you don't have to like cry because like I think men have the fear. Like my father is very stoic, so like I've only seen him cry like maybe once or twice. But just letting him know like this is a safe space and it's okay for you to express how you feel when you're hurting. I think that's something that also needs to be like established in a marriage, to let them know even at times when they may feel like they have to hide something from you, you have to let them know that it is okay.
No, that's dope because that's the reason why, us men, we need, women in our lives like that so we can let loose, right? Not be able to, box all the emotions in. Because, once it's let loose, it can be through anger, right? But and that's really dope. I bet like you feel a lot comfortable, a lot of weight got off his shoulders, and I feel like we need each other, to let those emotions go. Um, Vice versa for for a woman, when she's going through something, a man to hold her really tight, and otherwise too, when a man is going through, you try to hold it in. You feel me? The comfort, the soft touch of a woman, just so we just be ourselves, you feel me? In our true emotions.
And that's what some, like I'm on this app, and this app is full of misandry. And I hear a lot of things that some women say, but like you say, the soft touch of a woman. Some women they'll think that you're talking about sex or smex. I'm sorry, but
No, no, no,
really,
no,
it
no, not that.
can be like me. I'm bald headed. If my woman just come rub me on my bald head, say, "Babe, how was your day? How you feeling?" Or give you that shoulder rub, or just come snuggle up next to you.
No,
It's
it can
really
just be as simple. It can just be as simple as just a hug, you know.
Robin, like I can tell, like my husband always says, like it's something about your touch. Like when you touch me up, like I feel better. And I can tell, we're intertwined. I can tell when he just needs me to just rub his back or just be close or affectionate.
You and if y'all believe in like having good energy, right? It can be passed down. If one really truly cares and loves for you, you can feel that, just by looking into her eyes or just approach you slowly, just without even saying any words, to give you a little hug. You feel me? Or vice versa, a man coming to this girl like just giving that that come here. You feel me? Like that hug that kind of press everything in and just hold it really tight. So it is not necessarily anything to do with sexual standpoint. It's just more of a hey, we all need a hug sometimes. It's
Yeah,
as
the
simple as that.
companionship.
Simple as that, you know. The same way how you feel about when you graduate, somebody graduate walking, hugging your parents, hugging your friends, you feel me? And that's all it takes. It's the end of the day, you know, it's all about the action sometimes usually. Because I can tell you all the good words of the world, you feel me? I can speak all, you know, say everything, but sometimes, you know, just words is not necessary. Just come in, I got you.
I
Simple as
know
that.
even when we sleep together, he just naturally gravitates towards, we've been sharing the
No,
same bed for a long time. He just naturally gravitates towards me and I'd be like, scratch his head or something.
yeah. I guess I know you feel the same thing too. My bad, I'm gonna pick you up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you know, one thing that man, can y'all hear me? I think my sound. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you a little far away.
I know one thing I had to learn is even how like some of us didn't have an affectionate mother growing up. Sometimes it feel weird. And I think some women, you know, they get frustrated because they'll give a guy exactly what he asked for, and then when she give him to him, he like, dang, you don't appreciate it, or you don't accept what I'm giving you. And you know, sometimes those guys we don't know how to accept love and affection, and it comes off as kind of like weird or something, and it's something that some of us have to get used to. You know, and I be telling some chicks just give your man just a little time to accept to actually being loved correctly. You know, some dudes will come home from work and we had a bad day. I want to be fine. Oh, I'm good. Yeah, babe, what's wrong? I'm good.
You sound like you
Agree.
underwater.
Yeah, literally, that's my check.
Oh man, what happened?
I think he was talking to somebody. But
Okay, let me see.
I was over there. But yeah, but okay. Mind if I answer that question?
Come on, come on, where y'all at? What's happening?
Yeah, we was waiting on
Okay.
you. We just kind of pretty much talk about something else. Um, I can somewhat answer that question.
Come on, brother, we can't hear you. You kind of low.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, you hear me now? You hear me now?
Are you good?
Yeah. Um, I feel like when marriage is mentioned, uh, and I'm not speaking for no man, no woman, which this is just my opinion, my perspective. They tie that to like to money, or sometimes they overthink the situation. Like, what if we divorce, right? And now, from a man's perspective, he'd be like, "Oh no, you divorce, you're gonna take half of my things, such and such." You feel me? I feel like women don't really question marriage unless they ready or not ready. If that makes sense. So from a man's side, he's more worried about his financial situation. From a woman's side, it's more okay. Am I ready to settle down?
What happened? Khaled, you still talking or you went in the matrix?
No, I don't know if y'all heard me or not. I'm just men's side financial situations, women's side being committed.
All right.
Um, Men definitely decide, like you saying that, but also like the marriage. Like, a man does can decide. A man has access to marriage whether he's gonna marry you or not. And
Hmm.
women have access to, what, I don't want to say it on here, but I feel like
Yeah,
a lot of men are like, look, this is not marriage material. So they're not proposing that. Or like you said, Khaled, maybe that's not even what they want, or maybe
right.
something that they don't see in their cards.
Absolutely. And nothing wrong with that. Um, and that's the reason why some men do question. If I do get married to, it's gonna be a question if things don't work out. Now, my hard work or whatever is gonna be, with or without children being involved. Eventually, the wife is gonna be entitled to, getting a certain percentage of. of the wealth that he accumulated, you know, and I'm not speaking for no woman, just so it's what I think. You feel me? The woman, like you say, you know, it's like, do I really want to be with this man? You know, um,
And
I, I think a lot of times, even in the beginning stages, I think a lot of women don't understand. Men pay attention to everything.
yeah,
Men watch everything. The only thing the difference is women will curve you with words. Men will curve you in silence. So when men are dating you or looking to date you or hanging around you, he is watching everything to see if you are the wife. He's watching how you treat your significant, I mean your family, how you talk to people, how you talk to your friends. I mean, he's evaluating everything. He pays attention to everything. So a lot of times I think women think that men are not that attentive. That's so wrong. Men are very attentive. We're watching everything. It's like a strong interview that we're doing.
that's
To
fire, that's
see
fire, yeah.
to see what's going on with that woman. And we're watching how you talk to your children. Do you let your children run over top of you, or do you discipline your children? Do you have a problem if a man discipline your children?
Mm,
I mean, we're paying attention to everything, and we will come up. It don't take 6 months. It don't even take a month. A man can see you, and be around you for a week and already know if that's what he's gonna do or not. So, ladies, please understand that when a man is, because a man don't, we can't get, well, we don't have the options like y'all have to date all
Let's
the
bring
time. We
you
don't
up,
have.
Porcelain. Give me a second. Go ahead, brother. I hear you.
So it's just the fact that we're just evaluating what we have in front of us, and trust me, sometimes it's not good. And I know women might say, well, why don't y'all say anything? Well, because a lot of times women don't take criticism well. They don't take communication, raw communication, constructive, healthy criticism well. So men don't say that at all.
body count matters. I know women hate when I say that, but I definitely feel like that's something that you guys take into consideration too. Like,
We do.
because like if you done been with the homeboys and he can't go nowhere without you knowing somebody or then went somewhere, I feel like body count matters, especially for women if you want to get married.
It ain't just a body count. We see how you act around the homies. We see when money come up how you act.
it's
Are
gonna
you
show,
easily
yeah,
moved by
fact.
are you easily moved by money? Are you easily moved do your friends influence you? Do you listen to your friends? Are you a follower? Are you a leader? When it's time to go out with your friends, are you dictating what's going on?
Yeah,
Can you tell your friends that, hey, I'm going home today? Or you get a situation like this, I'll give you a perfect example. You get off of work and you want to go get some drinks or something after work, and one girl say, well, let me check in with my man, and then one girl say, why you gotta check in with your man? You know what I'm saying? Those type of things we are paying attention to. So when you decide that that's what you want to do, men are still, I know this is gonna sound foul, ladies, but men will still sleep with you. Men will still lay down with you or whatever the case may be. But as far as anything else of building with you, that's not gonna happen.
yeah, that's dope. Yeah, to add to that too. Yeah, it's pretty much understanding, you know, the woman's value. You know, won't mention, you know, she like to drink a lot, go out a lot. You know, dress or act a certain way in public. You know, a lot of that plays. And you mentioned earlier too. You know, how do you treat your family? How do you talk to your mother? You know, are you family oriented? You know, when we go out in public, you know, we have a disagreement or whatever whatsoever. You know, how you react, you feel me? Or we go out with our friends, just, you know, it could be another house or party, whatever the case may be. You know, it's the way you carry yourself. At the end of the day, you know, a man represents his wife and a wife represents his man no matter where they at. You feel me? It's the household, how to, you know, keep it together.
So when you hear a lot of women say all they want to do is just have sex, all they want to do is just have sex, the men already know. The men already know that there's something that's not going on, that's not right with that woman already. If she's not doing something,
Mm-hmm.
because man can't afford to have. Man is looking for wifey every time he looks at a woman. He's looking for her. Because at the end of the day, we don't have the options of just having women after women after women. It takes skill to talk to women. It takes skill to be with women. But women will pass over a lot of good men just because a lot of women want the same kind of guy. So you got to understand that men are evaluating. I mean, I'm talking about to the T. Y'all would be surprised at even how you wear your hair. Do you wear your own hair? You know, do you get your nails done? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's so crazy how men will evaluate you to see if you gonna be the missus in every category,
No, absolutely, yeah, and
every way.
yeah, and I feel like
Even their father.
yeah,
Hello.
yeah. So sorry, go
Say
ahead.
again.
I,
I think
I was just saying hello. Um, Thank you for letting me come up. I just wanted to share my opinion, respectfully, because I think that probably a lot of y'all will disagree with me. But I'm all about having intelligent, respectful dialogue. But to respond to the prompts, why is marriage on the decline? Um, why are men opting out? I think that I don't necessarily know if it's just men that's opting out. I think that marriage is not marriage is not what it used to look like, if you will, for a lot of people. Only because in this day and age, women are essentially doing the same things that men are doing. So this kind of traditional
Who told
idea that the woman stays at home and the man goes out and works and all this
who
stuff.
told you women doing what we doing?
Can I just finish? Oh, okay. I'm about to tell you. Um,
I'm just trolling.
so like traditionally, it was supposedly the man goes out and he works and he brings home the money. Well, specifically in the BLK community, BLK women are more employed than BLK men are, and BLK women do have have more jobs. So BLK women are going out, they're working, they're paying bills. So they're not. This is not back in the day. Most BLK men, I think the average income is around $40,000 a year. So there are not many BLK men who can provide for a family by them with their sole income. So most BLK women are out here working. They out here getting up every morning, sitting in traffic, punching the clock, coming home, taking care of the children, washing hair, combing hair, braiding hair, giving baths, making sure they do their homework, stopping at the grocery store, doing XYZ. Women are doing all of these, BLK women are doing all of these type of things and working full-time jobs. So this idea of being a provider, BLK women are providers.
No, they not.
In fact, BLK wives, so BLK women that are married are more likely than any other race of woman to either make more than their husband or to make around the same amount as their husband and to significantly contribute to the household bills 50-50, if not more. So therefore this idea that you pay the cost, like my daddy raised me on the philosophy, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. Well, for BLK women, we're paying the cost. We're going out, we're working, we're providers. So therefore, when I say we're doing the same things men are doing, I meant from a traditional standpoint of a man being a provider. And then as far as like protection, most of the day, a man is not with his woman. Like women, BLK women, we taking public transportation, we getting on the train to go to work, or on the bus, or we're driving, we're in traffic, we're out in the world by ourselves. We're at work for 8-10 hours by ourselves. So we are out here navigating, having to protect ourselves, having to provide for the family. So therefore, what I think what men maybe not understand, and it's fine, it's okay. And if people disagree with me, that's fine. This is only my opinion. But I think most women today want partnership. A lot of men have a mentality of a woman being submissive to them, and in the definition of submit means there's an authority figure. Women don't want authority figures. They don't want a father. They want a partner. And a partnership means that we compromise. We work together. There's no one person. The woman don't control and is not over the man, and the man is not controlling over the woman. We respect each other. We compromise. We are on a level equal. Men and women are different, but we're equal. I believe personally in balance. Men and women balancing each other. So if both of us are going out every day, working a full-time job, he getting up every morning, going out here working hard for his family, I'm doing the same thing, then guess what? We both gonna be helping with dishes and mopping the kitchen floor. We both gonna be helping with cooking. We both gonna be helping with the children. We're both gonna be doing all the other household duties as well. So that day and age where everything is dumped on the woman, a lot of women don't want that anymore. We want partners.
Yeah. Can I answer that, or you might want to speak before I say something? Mind if I be talking?
Wow.
Uh,
Go
Yeah.
ahead, Kat.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
okay. Hey, that was well said, Mr. Jet. Well said, well said, and I agree with you. You know, I would say probably 80% of it. You know, um, and I'm coming from a standpoint where I've seen, you know, different cultures. Cause you know, I'm African American. Um, I've, you know, been to like, you know, third world country and see how, you know, women are over there or treated in a sense and out here in America. You feel me? So I kind of have like, you know, a different type of point of view, but you know, it's all the same thing. That woman is a woman, you know, household, all that, you know. One of the questions I always ask everybody too, and I mentioned, you know, let's say you've been, you know, dating or been in a relationship or have a partner for about 5+ years, right? You got kids, person, you live with them, both of y'all working or, you know, um, doing the same thing. I feel like, isn't that similar to, you know, being married? But because marriage is saying, you know, I'm committed to you forever, right? When you sign that paper or you say it out of your words, you know, I'm committed to you, right? So I feel like a lot of people try to avoid it, but in reality, you know, it's like a married couple. Y'all doing exactly, y'all have kids, y'all live together, share the same bed, you feel me? You work, go to school, sleep, all of that, you know, raising kids, you feel me? Marriage is just saying, hey, I just want to be with you forever, you know. I'm committed to you, I love you, you know, you're my only one, you know. Nothing can change that. You feel me? It's a commitment. Right? And I feel like, you know, I don't know if y'all agree with that or not.
Well, let me say this. So to go by what the young lady was saying, and respectfully,
Mhm.
I disagree with majority of it, but not all of it.
All of it.
He's right
Yeah,
about a man should be able to provide for his family fully. I'm not gonna get into what I do, but I can provide for my family fully.
yeah,
If she comes to the table with finances, great. If she don't, great. That's fine.
yeah,
Either way, we fine. I think men men cannot lead unless they are financially strong.
mhm,
Because if his partner is financially stronger than him, he's gonna always have a problem with that. It's just there's just a fact of how we design. He gonna have a problem with it. Um, but at the same time, the also woman feels if she is still able to make that type of money over him, but still understand that he's the head of the household biblically, then they can work. Um, as far as the authority figure is concerned, the man has to be an authority figure. It's more than just
absolutely,
providing just finance and provision. A man is bringing structure, infrastructure, and stability and discipline to that household. The
yeah,
children need it,
yeah,
the wife need it, I need it,
yeah,
and the whole family need it. We cannot live without it. If that's the case, then the rules of the land wouldn't be the way it's supposed to be. And
yeah,
when man is in a household and he is ran properly, he has instructions from God, and she is submissive to him, and she's listening to him, and they're running a well-oiled machine. Our children are being raised correctly. They're not in jail. We're not making crazy decisions. We're not doing any of that. So a man is an authority figure because he has to be. And as far as the protection, I do agree with the young lady when she was saying y'all out and about. But if you really want to understand, men keep other men in check. So
yeah,
men are not going to just do anything to our women because men keep other men in check. Does it happen all the time? No, but for the most part, yes. The Bible states how things are supposed to go. I know the times have changed, but tradition is still tradition, and we have gotten away from tradition. And I do understand that our ladies are making the bag now; they're going to get the money now, or whatever the case may be. But if you still look at society, majority of the women that still make money still is misguided, still make poor decisions, still are out of pocket, still are embarrassing their families and everything like that with all the crazy behavior, all the turn up behavior and everything like that. Still need guidance. So I don't care how much money a woman makes. Bottom line, there still needs to be some type of discipline and moral compass in that woman to be able to function. Money is not everything, but for a man, money is needed for him to be able to
Yeah.
um
It's
to,
a, it's, it's, it's a necessity. Yeah, it's like it's necessary.
he
It's
got
just
to be able
part
to
of yeah.
leave his
Could I
he got to
respond
be
to
able
that
to
real
leave the
quick?
house. Sure.
So, I hear what you say, and I think it's important to hear, each other's perspectives and how each other views things. I will say this, though, for me personally, I am not a believer. I don't subscribe to the Bible or any of that. If other people subscribe to that book and everything, that is for them. That's absolutely, they're
Okay.
entitled to that. I will say though that I do hear sometimes, and I don't know you. I'm not saying this about you at all. I'm just saying I had so many of these conversations on these apps. But one of the things is when it goes back to why, men should be some type of authority, people usually always go back to some religious element. The thing I noticed about that though is like they don't uphold many of the other things in the Bible, like premarital smacks. They'll engage in premarital smacks and all of these other things. But when it comes down to, well, why then does a man supposed to have authority over a woman? Then all of a sudden the Bible comes up in the conversation. So I just always find that that's very interesting to me. But aside from that, my thing is just to say this, right? When you said men bring organization, men bring stability, men bring all of these kinds of things. I'm not going to say men don't. I think both people bring that. That's why I said I feel like it's a balance. I don't think that makes men bringing what they bring to a relationship helps the balance. It's not making them an authority because a woman is also bringing what she's bringing to help stabilize the relationship. And when you look at data, I mean, long term data, it shows that men, and this is just what the data says, that men benefit from marriage more than women in the sense that married men are documented as being happier, healthier, making more money, and living longer than single men. When you compare single women to single, well, I'm just saying that's what the data says. I'm not saying this is what the data says. So, well, when you compare single women to married women, there's a different, it skews different there. So my thing is women bring so much to men. Like men literally live longer when they are married to a woman. Like so women bring all so much with us. And I think that sometimes some men, and I wish more of our brothers could really understand what women are saying, which is that you can bring all the great things you bring. I can bring all the great things you bring, or that I bring. But you are not my authority. You're not my father. You're my man. You're my husband. You're my partner. And for some reason, I don't know what it is, but men, not all men, but many men are obsessed with submission. They are obsessed that they need
Okay.
to be in
No more
charge
no more.
and they need to
Okay.
tell a woman what to do. Wait, this is my last
So I
thing.
so I
This is my
think
last thing. This is my last thing. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna mute. This is my last thing. Women, if you look at women are entrusted with children. We raise babies. We protect the baby. We get the baby up to walking, to talking, to moving, to thinking, ABCs, one, two, threes. Women do such an integral part of society. And the fact that people think that somehow we need some authority figure over us that can tell us or should be telling us what to do, and otherwise we don't know how to function. Women have had to be okay, women, particularly, that's why I always specify, because our road has been different than other cultures, other people. We have always had to work. We've always had to go against adversity. We've always had to deal with racism and all the other circumstances that, as BOK people, we both contend with. So this idea that we need some authority figure over us, no, we need a partner. We need a
You need
partner.
you need a third.
Nope, nope,
so
nope,
I
nope,
think
nope, nope, nope,
so
nope, 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 nope,
You need a
no,
third.
no,
Jesus.
nine,
Right.
no, whatever language you want to put it in. It's a no,
Woo.
no, no. I've been listening. I've been
so I
being
think
very
that this
You know,
answers
graceful.
you
our question.
know,
No,
shook, huh?
I've been up here for how many minutes? I've been listening to this foolishness. It's a no.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
Okay,
Wow.
she
it's a
going off.
big
Okay.
no. First of all, first of
Okay.
all,
Okay.
first of all, when people are
You
getting
ain't looking
married,
at my platform to see the authority women need.
when
Okay.
people
Go ahead, Miss
no,
Goddess. I apologize.
when people are getting married, you don't see groom and groom. Okay, naturally, you don't see groom and groom. You see a bride and a groom. There's a reason why a man is called the groom. Okay, he is a groomer. He grooms you as the woman, his wife. Okay, a wife is a wife before she becomes a wife. Okay, and the reason why black women, and I'm going to say black women, and I mean black American women, as I'm living in the States, they have a problem with a man being an authoritarian figure, is because majority of black women were not raised with their fathers within the home. So you find a man that has some type of authority as he's controlling. Why should I want a man to have authority over me and all of this nonsense? It's foolishness. Every other group of women on the planet can understand that except for the black woman. Why is that? Why is that? And it works phenomenally well with every other group of women except for the black woman. Why is that? Let's not forget that we are raised in the same man that we are complaining about, ladies. We are raised in the man that we are
I
complaining
think
about. So no. I did not cut anybody off. I've been sitting up here gracefully listening to all of the nonsense that you guys have been spewing out of your mouths. Like, I'm sorry.
right. Right.
Okay? No.
Thanks,
You
Star.
guys are out of order. You're out of order. You're out of bound. You're out of nature. It's chaotic. Okay? And this is a ramification of what we're seeing. Black men are the only group of men on the planet that are complaining about their group of women that is being raised by women. No, you're out of order. Man is supposed to be an authoritarian figure. The covenant is man, woman, child. Whether you're religious or not, it's man, woman, child. It's not child, woman, man. It's not woman, man, child. It's man, woman, child. I don't care if you like it or not. That is the order of things. Okay? You're not home raising the babies and all of these
Thriving.
things. You're too busy trying to have a pissing contest. You're too busy trying to have a de-measuring contest too. So it's like, how is a man supposed to thrive in that environment? You weren't raised to be a wife. So you have no idea. And even when the men them are telling you what it is, you guys are still saying no. But this and that and this and that and a bunch of nonsense. The men are telling you, if you're a lesbian, then just say that. Then go and find your group of people. But don't come amongst man as a woman and then want to tell man, you're not, are you interested in dating man? Are you interested in being married to a man? Because if you are, you ought to be shutting up and listening more than you're talking. And I dare one of you guys to come out of
So
your face and
thriving, you
start
took
talking
the
and start saying, oh, but you're not BLK, because I already know where this shit is going. Because I'm ready with the shits tonight.
Listen, I haven't heard that before.
thriving, you
Too.
took the
I'm ready too. We can do
so
it.
I
No,
just wanted to say
you
one
have been, no,
thing.
that's no, no, you
Thriving,
absolutely
you
right.
took
That's
the
your word.
No,
words.
no, you are,
Can
because
me and
this is
her
your
have a debate?
identity.
Can
Thriving,
we
you
do
took
like
the
a
words out of
ping
my
pong?
mouth.
There's nothing to debate about.
Now listen, you
There's
with
right
it.
and
I'm
there's
with it
wrong.
too. Let's
There's right
go.
and there's wrong. There's fuckery, foolishness that you're spewing,
You
and
said nothing of substance to
there's
counter what I
righteousness.
said. You said a bunch of
There's
religious
righteousness.
rhetoric, a
I
bunch of
didn't
red
say
pill
nothing
rhetoric.
religious.
You said
I said
nothing of
nothing
substance,
religious.
ma'am.
I said nothing
You said
religious.
that's how it's supposed to
I
be.
said
It's
nothing
based on
religious.
what?
I spoke about
You saying
nature.
that based on
Nature is not
religion,
religious.
ma'am.
Excuse
You
me. I
basing that on
spoke on
religion.
nature.
You
I
said
said
nothing
nothing
of substance.
religious. I
You
said
didn't address
nothing
anything I said
religious.
intellectually. You addressed it from the same old.
You are not. I'm,
Okay, guys, we have to let each other talk one by one. So who going first? Because we can't overtalk.
You notice that when everybody else was speaking, I did not cut anybody off, right? Literally, did not. I let her fly the stupid ass plane that she was flying for how long that could not touch the damn ground. With all of the fuckery that she was talking. I let everybody else keep talking. Like, no, it's bullshit and it's
Well,
fuckery, and I did
we
not say
gotta watch
anything
our
religious.
language or they'll kick
Sorry.
no,
Put some
she.
tweets in the chat for
they'll
me,
kick us
please.
off. We gotta watch her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. I said
Yo,
nothing religious. I said whether you believe in religion or not, the natural, meaning coming from nature, order of things is man, woman, child. That is the natural order of things.
Based
Okay?
on what?
The
What are you
man,
basing
the
that
man
on?
transfer into you and you transport.
What
Okay?
are you
Then
basing
comes the
that?
baby. The natural order of things.
What are you basing that on?
Nature. Did you not hear me?
What in nature
Nature.
says that? What says that in
Nature.
nature? What in
Nature.
nature?
Okay. Where did nature said? Because man came
Where did you get
first,
that?
then comes the woman, and then comes the child.
Man comes first
Nature.
based on. Wait a minute. Man
Nature.
comes first based
All
on
right.
what? What does man
Nature.
come first based on?
Can I jump
Oh
in?
Lord Jesus
Let
Christ.
me, Earth, let me jump in.
I
Nature
can't with this
meaning, if you look
nonsense.
at the
Man
animal
was made
kingdom,
first.
Natural order of
What do you
things,
mean by
ma'am.
that? What do
So
you
woman
mean
was
by
made
that?
first. So woman was made first.
Who
Was
knows?
woman made
Who knows?
first?
I think science.
Everybody
I
else
think
knows except
science
for you,
says
love.
woman. I believe
Everybody else
science
knows
says
except for
woman,
you.
ma'am.
Everybody knows except for you.
I
I'm
believe. I
sorry.
believe science
Sorry.
says woman, ma'am.
going to argue. Are we having a productive conversation? This is crazy to me. Okay, may I speak?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. Okay, why is marriage on the decline? Marriage is on the decline because these days people don't know their roles. People don't value family. They don't value people, and it's all materialistic. Okay, if anytime we get confused, even if we remove the Bible or religion and we look at nature, we look at our biology, ladies, our biology, literally every single month, our bodies bleed, okay, to remind us that we're supposed to have children. That's why we are here. Once that clock stops, guess what? Our body decline because our purpose is over. Okay, we have to take hormones and all this stuff to, to keep it kicking, to live longer. So that's science for you, Miss Leggett. Science says that we are here to produce children. We have to carry these children inside our bodies for 9 months and then put them on our chest to nurse these children. And what are the men supposed to do? They're supposed to provide for us while we fulfill our purpose and protect us. So therefore, they are our leaders because we're most vulnerable. If you look in the kingdom of animal kingdom, lions do the same thing. They protect the lionesses while lionesses are in their den, are looking after the little cubs. Most animal kingdom do it this way. The animal kingdom that does not do it this way, guess what? It's imbalanced. They're seen as hyenas. They're imbalanced. They're not organized. They're not clean. Okay? So we need to stop to argue for arguing's sake. Please. We have to get to a place where, do we value people? Do we value family? Do we value children? Do we value elderly? Right? People come first. Everything else we work to accomplish, careers and jobs, all that should be for family, for legacy, for future generations. I don't understand why we're going to keep sitting here having these gender wars that are not getting us anywhere. The marriage is not working because the woman is thinking she can sit on the same throne as the man. So if you're 9 months pregnant, right? First baby, second baby, third baby, and then you have to go to work 9-10 hours a day, are you going to respect your husband? No, you're gonna call him he's nothing, he doesn't love you, he does, he this ninja this ninja that. That's what you'll say. But when he sits you down and say, baby, I have a plan, I have a vision, you're gonna be having babies, I'm going to protect and provide for you, that's still not good enough. What are these men supposed to do? What are they supposed to do? I don't understand. Can we just stop debating things that are not debatable? Yeah, you don't understand what I'm talking about because you don't value family, you don't value people, you value things, a fancy house, a car, money. You put that on the pedestal before you put people first. I've been there. You guys make me mad. I didn't even want to come up here today, host. I just came to say hi to you and ask you what you were sipping on, and then all this mess. Nonsense.
And secondly, as far
Thank
as
you,
being an
Thread.
authority figure,
No
as,
good for you. I'm drinking this in water though.
as far as
Go ahead.
being an authority figure, when our women raise the children by themselves and no man is in the home, that's why we got a lot of the young men around here doing a lot of the shooting and in jail and stuff like that. I grew up in a 2-parent household. My father was always on me. We couldn't do what everybody else done. And he used to tell me, he said, "You don't understand what I'm teaching
Well,
you
you
yet,
up in a minute, sister. Go ahead, brother.
but one day you will." And lo and behold, all my other friends were getting in trouble, and we turned out to be different. Are we better? No. He just had discipline for us. We couldn't just move how we wanted to move. We couldn't say what we wanted to say. So when a man is an authority figure, I don't mean controlling. I don't mean abusive. I don't mean that way. But looking out for his family. If I know we going somewhere where I know that, babe, I know you got curves. I know you have a nice body, a nice frame. You're beautiful. If we go in places that I know that could be detrimental, I don't need you wearing that tonight. Just dress comfortable, conservative, so we can get through the night. Because if somebody touches you, grab you, or say something about the norm, I'm gonna have to step in, and that could both be detrimental. Because I'm gonna do what I gotta do to make sure that we get up out of there. So when your man is telling you things, he's only telling you things because we see the world different. We see the ugly part of the world, the guns, the drugs. We see that part of the world where most of our women don't see that part of the world. So we're just trying to make sure that we can see another day with our families and stuff like that. But if you're not listening to us, if you don't take constructive criticism, if you don't take guidance from us, and we cannot talk to you, then you're putting our family at risk about not listening to what's got going on. And it ain't an everyday thing or all the time thing. But we need our women to, especially if we're doing our best to make sure that they're protected. Our women gotta listen to us, because if not, and that goes vice versa. Our women tell us, "Hey, don't do this, do that." You need to respect what she's saying, because she loves you and she wants you to come home at night. So being an authority figure and everything like that, you have to lead your family. The reason why this conversation is not going to go well between the two ladies is because one believes in biblical principles and the other one doesn't believe in biblical principles, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, there you got one woman basically going off the natural order of Christ, and you have another woman going off the order of science, and they're going to always butt heads. So when y'all trying to see eye to eye about what's going on, what a man should be doing and what marriage should be doing, most majority of the people on this panel most likely believes in God, believes in Christ, believes in order. Where if you believe in science and you have your opinion and you have the right to have your opinion and you also have the right to feel how you feel, it's going to be a clash, because most people believe in the word, believe in the blood, believe in Jesus. Where if you believe in science, you don't believe into any of that. So it's going to always be a pushback on the conversation. I've landed.
Um, can I answer that, or is one of the other ladies want to speak?
Do you want
One of
me
you.
to answer it or no,
Yeah,
host?
go ahead. No, you haven't
Yes,
spoke.
yes,
Go ahead.
ma'am. Come on. I haven't heard you. Come on, young lady.
Okay,
Come
now I
on.
was waiting for everybody else to speak. Um, first of all, I wanted to say to Miss Legit, like I think it's very disrespectful to refer to the Bible as a book. Even me thinking about Muslim faith, I would never call their Quran a book or try to diminish its purpose or what it means to someone. I just find that very disrespectful. And I also want to address you when you said that men are not higher earners than women. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they did a study last year, which was in May, because it happens every year. They have to gather the data. It said that men out earn women, black men out earn black women. Um, and you know, it's cute, sis, to be on the internet and just try to be righteously right, but sometimes you have to listen. And you've been warned. Earth God has warned you, Thriving warned you. So these are warnings from the spiritual realm. And you can play around with it if you want to. That's on you. But I came up here just to answer the prompt, host, and then I'm gonna drop. So it said why marriage is on the decline. Marriage is on the decline for innumerable amounts of reasons. You have people like Miss Legit that has this science ideology that's very indoctrinated with a liberal way of thinking. Is very wild and vicious to the point where you want to challenge biology and you want to go against nature. I'm just not going to argue with something like that. The Bible also cautions you not to argue with fools. So I'm just not going to just have these discussions anymore. And furthermore, women don't, the marriage is on decline because of like financial instability. You have women like Miss Legit that think that she can do it all by herself, but everybody know in Ecclesiastics it says two is better than one, and three is even more better than two. So it's a team out here. You know, if you have that one little check that you bringing in the house and you have children, that money is dwindling away very, very fast. So you need help. You need help. You have to fit the bill for everything. Car insurance, maybe your car is not paid for, car payment, maybe you have a mortgage. Who knows? That's a lot that's coming out of your income. Also, the reason why it's on decline is economical challenges, unemployment rates, um, educational disparities, incarceration rates, because our men are locked up, and it shift in cultural norms, like the attitude towards marriage, the feminist agenda, and women choosing to shack rather than get married to a man. And you also have, unfortunately, dating violence. And a lot of it is, you know, provoked by women. They can't keep their hands to themselves. They get outraged and they provoke men. Take it how you want to take it. And that's all I have to say, host. I'm not going to be long
Hey,
winded with this.
Porcelain, don't disappear tonight, please.
I'm gonna be in the comments because
All
I
right
just don't
now.
have. I just don't
Don't
have
Come back
time.
disappear.
up. If you want to
Don't
come back up, you
disappear.
can. Anybody can go
Okay,
and come back. It's cool.
I'll be in
Yeah,
the comments.
Porcelain.
Yeah, I want to get everybody because I know a lot of people probably requesting. I kind of want to free up your panel a little bit.
Yeah,
Thank
Porcelain,
you.
don't disappear. I need you tonight, babe, because
Me
you been
too.
Okay.
You
dropping some
guys, all
gems.
right.
Me
I
too.
love y'all.
Can,
Yeah,
can, can
yeah,
I?
go
I'm gonna
ahead,
get
go
you on
ahead, Mr. K.
tonight.
I guess you got a rebuttal on defend yourself on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to respond, and then I'm not gonna be long because then I have to go, but I am gonna come back. I'm gonna come back if you're still on for sure. But I just want to address a couple of things that was said. Um, what she said about black men making more money. That's not necessarily the full truth. There's caveats to that. So when black men are employed, they do tend to make more money, but not by like a significant amount. It's based upon the fact that women typically are pregnant or have pregnancy, so they have less time at work. Women tend to leave when the children are sick or doctor's appointments. They don't do as much overtime. It has more to do with those types of things like overtime, being out sick, being out pregnant, those kinds of things. So it's not based upon, I think, what she was trying to base it upon. Because we make around the same amount in terms of averages, but the stats show that black wives, when black women are married, that they tend to make more than their husbands or around the same amount, and that black women significantly contribute to the bills in the household.
Are
Also,
we
I
in
never said
competition?
I never said black women. It's not, but I'm just responding to what she said. And
Well,
also,
she's
I'm not saying
responding
black
because
That's
you
not, but
mentioned
that's
it.
still not
You
true.
mentioned it.
also, can
You
I just
mentioned
finish,
it.
please? Can I just finish, please? And also, I'm not. It's not a competition, but I'm responding to what she said. Also, I never said women make more. I said black women are more employed, and I was saying if we're talking about issues in terms of marriage and things like that, economics play a role in that. We can't sit here and act like they don't. The other thing is, people can't make up their mind. On the one hand, y'all say black women are too independent, and then at the same time, y'all will say black women want a man with all this money. They want the man to pay all the bills. Which one is it? People are just all over the place with this. The other thing is that being left out of this conversation. This is a major key, and some of y'all may admit it, some of y'all may not. But let's be real. How many times do a lot of black men, because a lot of black men are adverse to legal commitments, they tell a woman something like, "You my wifey, you wife, you my wife, you're mine, you belong to me. We don't need a piece of paper. We don't need the government in our business. We don't need any of that." And what happens? A lot of the women follow their men. A lot of the women listen to their man, and they go along with that. And then down the line, they have a child or children. They later break up, and guess what? She's considered a single mom, never having been married, any of the above. People never want to talk about that conversation that a lot of black men have with the women they're involved with. That this is my wife, but y'all know y'all aren't legally married. A lot of men, I was listening to this guy the other day talking about him and this lady, they have three children together, three boys, and they still not married. and he's still dragging his feet about getting married. And he's like, oh, well, we don't really need that.
He don't
She
want to
my
marry her.
wife. He was like, we don't really need that paper. She my
Just
wife.
land this plane. Just land this plane. Just land
It
it.
don't, okay, let me finish. It don't matter what the government say in our business. She my wife. So please don't get on here and act like all these tons of black men want all of this legal documentation of marriage. Plenty of black men just claim the woman is their wife and they're not legally married.
And that's his fault.
And I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, how is that?
Well,
Just
yeah,
land the
because
plane. Just
according
land
to
the
y'all,
plane.
according
Just
to
land Spirit
y'all, okay,
Airlines, please. Land Spirit, please.
I'm gonna
Thank
land
you.
it.
Thank
But
you.
according to y'all, the men are the leaders. So if she's listening to her man, and her man, if she loves him and all of the above, and he tells her, baby, don't worry about that getting married. We don't need that paper. We doing our own thing. You my wife. Y'all say the man is the leader. So
Every
then why
man's
do
not a
y'all
leader,
turn
just like
around?
every woman isn't
Why
a
do y'all
wife.
turn around and shame and blame women after they listen to their man? The man that they love, that they been with, the man that's supposed to be they holding them down. Why do y'all being shame women when they do that? When things don't work out, y'all make fun of the women. So y'all are full of it too.
Yeah.
All of these different women that's up here. I'm gonna jump off of here, but I would love to debate any of these women hosts. We could go round for
No,
round. We
no,
could do countdown. I will
no,
destroy any of them. And
no.
y'all have
Before
a
you
good
leave,
Wait a
yeah,
rest of
second,
your
hold on,
wait a
hold on.
second,
Before you
Khaled.
leave,
Khaled, wait. You're
Okay,
just
go
an
ahead.
argumentative spirit. We're not listening to you. Just
No,
land
I'm
the
not.
Spirit
You can't
No,
Airlines
hold,
and
refute
go on
hold,
about
anything
hold
your
I
on, bro.
business.
said.
You
You
are
can't
a
refute
Jezebel
me.
spirit. You are just a Jezebel
And
spirit. It's
see, that's
okay.
all
An
you can
agent of
say because you can't
confusion.
refute
Because
anything
you're
Exist.
an
I
agent of
said.
confusion. You're not following the natural order of
Jezebel
things.
and
I'm
all
not
this
gonna
stuff.
argue with
Girl, get
you.
out of here with that.
You're
Yeah,
Jezebel
legit, legit.
Deal
spirits.
with me
A
intellectually.
confusion
No,
agent.
hold up. Yeah,
Deal
All right,
with
legit.
go
me
Before
on.
you leave,
intellectually, but you can't. So
You
you
said
It's
have
nothing
to
that
okay
made
listen
because
to
she
sense.
just
You said
answered the
nothing that made
question.
sense. You said
I don't
It's
nothing
know
that made
nothing
okay.
like
sense.
that.
yeah, hold on. Yeah,
It's
Nothing.
okay because
legit,
she
legit.
answered the host question. Why is marriage on the decline? Because that perspective. That's why
There
marriage
we
is on
Okay,
the
go.
yeah.
That
decline.
perspective.
That's
That
that
women
because of
want
Mrs.
partners.
No,
And let me
because
tell
Mrs.
you what got
Legit
y'all up in
perspective.
arms. This
Because
is
of
what
your
got y'all up in
perspective,
arms.
that is
Y'all
why
got up
marriage
in
is on the
arms because
decline.
I
It's
said
you.
women
It's
need
that
want
perspective.
partners. Y'all got up in arms. I want to remind you, before we got to this point, y'all were upset because I said women today want partners. That's what upset y'all.
Go
I
and
didn't
join
ever
a
say
law
a woman
firm.
is
Go
over
and
Yeah,
a
join
hold
a
on,
man.
hold on.
firm. If you want
Legit,
to
I
be a
legit.
never
partner,
said
go
a
and join
woman
a
should tell a
firm.
man what to do.
If you
I
Hold
want
on.
to
never
be a
said
Before
partner,
you
anything
go
leave,
and
let me
negative.
join a
respond to
I
you real
said
firm.
quick.
we're partners, we're equal,
No,
and
go
It's
and
y'all
join
okay
a
are
for
firm.
us.
If you
upset.
want to be a
Okay.
partner, go join a
We're
firm.
not
If
Yeah,
you want to be a
equal.
legit,
partner,
legit.
go
Hold
join a
on.
firm.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that
Before
We're
you
not
simple.
she
equal.
left, right? Okay,
She
yeah.
got
So,
out.
yeah, mind if I just say something? You know, yeah.
The hell?
Yeah, she's wilding for that one. I feel you can't. She's tying money to what's value. What's moral, what's right. The natural way of a wife, right? So when you guys mention the qualities of a wife, right? You guys are also teaching men to find a certain wife, and when a man speaks on, saying, "Oh, this is the type of woman I'm looking for," women are also learning. So like I look like she didn't understand, like she's tying it to money and jobs and all of that. It's not about no. It's just the treatment. It's the value how a wife's supposed to be. Understanding the natural role, right? And it and like like it was never a question about a woman, having a good job or working or anything like that. It's just, traditionally, what a wife's supposed to do, right? And then what a husband's supposed to do for his wife and his children and everything, right? Provide and protect, right? A mother nurture, respect, all that. So it goes hand in hand and it works really well. And one of the brothers told me, right, in order to destroy a family, is to separate from a man from his wife, right? Because then now the kids can be influenced by another person outside of that could play that father role, or that woman can, ended up, being with another man that can influence the kids, or make her. It was a lot. Like I understand she was, trying to tie that to like what you said, scientific and and money. It was never in question. It's just it's a natural thing, being a woman, being a man, and what we're supposed to do, right? It was never in question of, what kind of job you have, or a man. And when you say authority, no, he's not trying to control you. It's just following a lead. Now, any woman with a common sense will not follow a man that can't lead.
We in trouble, man.
That's
I,
what I'm
I,
saying. You
I feel,
feel
I
me? And
feel
it's
like
on here, and I
I feel
respect.
like
Man, it was man. It's dope, man. Cause a lot of
I
sisters here have
feel
a
like
very great point.
and you know what's
You know.
crazy, hoes?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this little 5 second thing, then I'm gonna let expert the guy above me talk. What's crazy, host, is that majority of the women on this panel are married women. They are married women, and they are all in sync saying the exact same thing, and they make it so bad. They the minority. The majority is still out there, and it's hard for real men who really want to be husbands to find the women like you got on this panel, but they already taken. Bro, it's tough, bro. We are in trouble because every woman
Yo,
from thriving to they can't pick me to Earth Goddess to all of them are talking in harmony. They are saying the same thing. They bring in different perspectives because they got, of course, everybody have different experiences. But for the foundation of what's going on is the basis of it. They're all saying the same thing.
Why you say we in
Big ups
trouble?
to them, man.
yeah, and another thing
Because
too,
trying to
a
find
wife
trying to
has
find somebody
authority.
that
A wife has authority, towards her husband, taking care of the family, taking care of the
host
kids while the husband is working,
trying to
right?
find
So
that.
it was never a question of, it's just regular values, traditional, and being one, right? At the end of the day, when a man has a strong woman, he will never question her, right? He will never treat her bad. He won't talk down to her,
Hey,
and it
host.
goes hand in hand. It goes perfectly hand in hand, right? So
Hey,
she
host.
just, she was just trying to, yeah, go ahead, brother. Go
Hey, host. Clap it up for the women on the panel, man.
ahead. Absolutely, big
Clap
time.
it up for all the women on the panel, man. They the ones.
Crazy about that. And I'm married, boy, and, my wife,
They give
she's overseas. You feel me?
they
Great
give a
family.
man hope. They give
Come
a
on,
man hope, host. They give a man hope, bro.
I don't
Lord,
question her. She don't question me. If we have a disagreement, we come together. We have to understand that
man.
arguments will always happen. You feel me? She wants to, a wife, a great wife, will always want the best for her husband. And vice versa. It's all
Jesus.
about your understanding. She don't question how I lead, and if I'm messing up, she gonna tell me, listen, yo, you ain't doing right. You ain't acting right. Get yourself together. She leading, she taking authority now, right? So I can't question it. So it's like, come on now, you feel me? It go hand in hand and it work. It's a strong foundation.
Appreciate y'all for letting me hop on here, man, and I appreciate you for your input, Khaled. I would say preparation, lack of preparation, is one of the biggest reasons for a decline in marriage. People aren't properly preparing to become wives and husbands. That's one of the biggest things. Controversial take. The BLK woman has taken on a responsibility in a fight that never was truly hers. And when I say that, I'm talking about feminism. Feminism, the patriarchy, I mean, all that stuff you're talking about, that really is nothing that the BLK man ever had any power or ownership or anything that we did. We had nothing to do with that. So that's also something that is reducing our marriage rate in general.
Shit.
And then when you talk about the systematic impact that family division, the welfare system, mass incarceration, all these other things. You mean the war on crime, the war on drugs, you know what I'm saying? Where they were breaking up, the war on crime was used to break up the civil rights movement, and then it transitioned from the war on crime to the war on drugs that was used to combat the Black Panthers and all this other stuff, where we had everything going on because before the welfare system, before all that stuff, we had it going on. We had each other's back. We was making it work. You know what I'm saying? So those are a lot of the reasons for the season of what we're seeing right now. A lot of the things that are going on is the main cause of that. But more so right now, people aren't preparing themselves.
Facts,
They're
facts,
applying
facts.
for roles that they're applying for roles that they don't qualify for. We're not able to look at ourselves and then figure out what we're going objectively. We're not able to look at ourselves objectively to see what we need to change so that we can elevate ourselves so that we can appeal to a better, opportunity or a better situation. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna land my plane there.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah, for sure. It's a lack of good
Mm.
influence, positive influence for both, children. Um, at the end of the day, we gotta lead by example, father, protective of his children, especially his girls, and the mother vice versa for her sons, and as long as we lead by example, we'll have a better generation, a well kept kids together, and family and a strong foundation, It's never in question about, what a woman needs to do or the freedom a woman has or what type, it's just, if you're smart enough to understand what, everybody can make a decision, to choose the type of woman they want to date, and be with, right? And none of us ain't perfect. Of course, you want to be with somebody who's always going, impress you, say all the right words, but in reality, he's probably a horrible person, Sometimes a lot of people gotta, understand the difference, for men, don't just go for the woman that you're attracted to, on a sexual standpoint, right?
Have
Understand her,
discernment
yeah, sorry, and to understand
and
her,
deep discipline.
exactly, right? And vice versa for a woman, don't watch a man that leads by his pockets, because if you just, money comes and goes, and once he ain't got it no more, what you gonna do? He could give you all the best clothes, all the best, and once you try to rely on that, and it's not there no more. And so, okay, now it becomes, he's going to start questioning. You're like, oh, you was only here, but this what you show. You try to leave by your pockets. I could do this, I could do that. Da, da, da. It was never love there. You feel me? It's just what he could put out there for you, what he could give you. You feel me? So
And
that's
then real
just,
quick,
yeah, it's just having common sense and just understanding. Do you really want some that's legit, fair, and honesty, and love, or you just want to be part of society that leads, there's certain times that leads with materialistic things, being the best looking dressed or having the nicest car and all of that.
unrealistic expectations. Real
Um,
quick, there's one more thing that I forgot to. I'm a land my plane. My bad, Earth Goddess. Real quick, one other thing that I would also say is that we need to do better with Dang, dang. Go ahead, Earth Goddess. Give me a second. Let me
Oh,
recollect
we
my
fucking
thoughts.
lady.
so so
Go
um
ahead.
Yeah, good.
so I'm gonna say this, okay? We're so out of order, okay? And I'm not taking myself out of it, though I'm not a part of the coalition, but I'm a woman, okay? Um, we, the black women, are so out of order. But I got a plan. I feel like we should all, especially the man, start taking your children, okay? Start taking your children. Start not having these women have all of this access to the kids, because women are not more suitable or better of raising children than a man is. I don't care what nobody say. Yes, I'm a woman who has children and I'm saying that. Okay? So get these kids that's under the age of 12, 13, and then get them away from the mom, because they're ruining them. That is the only way right now that this is going to start changing. Okay? We
Our
we we
judicial,
we can't
our
round them up
judicial
and
system
annihilate
sucks.
them. I'm sorry.
Our judicial system sucks when it comes to that. A lot of men try
Yeah, well, more and
to.
more men have to start flooding it and start fighting. That's what it is. And I'm
It
sorry to
depends
say,
on
because
when
you
you
shouldn't
choose to
you
start
shouldn't
fighting.
even have to
Earth
you
Goddess
shouldn't
is
even
right.
have to start fighting. You shouldn't even have to be fighting for your kid. Okay? But this is where we are. So we can't complain about what the
Yeah,
shoulda, coulda, would have done. But this is where we are. Okay?
I
If
agree
more
with
and more
that.
men actually start showing up, start bombarding these courts, okay, because women are not better nurturers than men. They're not. Okay. And I'm saying that as a woman. I have a dad. I have 10 brothers. I also have 14 sisters. For any idiot that's going to come out here and say some foolishness, I'm a mom. Okay. And I'm a woman. Okay. So, and professionally speaking, I see it all the time too. Women do horrible things to children. I have to be repairing things that's done to children by women 90% of the time. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, so Earth,
So,
you pretty much saying having like a stronger influence, a father to have a stronger influence on his kids
absolutely.
rather than, yeah, okay,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely,
Little
yeah, for sure,
girls,
for
little
sure.
girls hit puberty later on at a more natural time in life when they have a father inside of the home. Okay? Because man regulate women's hormones. Women do not know how to regulate our own hormones. We do not. Our
Yeah,
emotions are
opposites
nothing.
attract.
We do
Yeah,
not.
opposites attract. Yeah,
And I'm not about to be arguing with nobody who's stupid and they have a computer in their hand and trying to look stuff up. I'm not gonna argue with you because I'm not
yeah,
combative and I'm not argumentative. And really, I'm just not in the damn setting to do it, really. She ought
no,
to be
Mm-mm.
lucky
it's
I'm
I
not
pretty
think
much,
the
it's
home.
pretty much,
men should get
no
full
problem.
custody of the kids. I
She
think
ought to be
they
happy
should
that
be.
I'm not home. I'm not
I
even
think
saying
there
full
should be a
custody because
50-50 because I
I'm
think
not.
kids need both.
Wait a second, please, Candy. I'm just saying, okay. that to leave the child alone with this mom, okay? And oftentimes they're very frustrated. They're taking out their anger on these kids. They say
Yeah.
nasty things to them that's living in their head. This is why you have an epidemic of grown people who's trying to recover from their childhood. Okay, because the little
The
10 year
wasn't
old
about
boy, the
emotions
little
here.
10
Forget
year old
about
boy inside
emotions.
of them needs to be healed. Okay, there's a lot of things happening here on a psychological level that's showing up in the physical way. Okay, and most of these things are done by the mom, and I'm blaming the mom as the woman because 99% of the time the children are left with the mom. Okay, so the woman is doing more damage than an absentee father ever could. Okay,
Yeah,
but we
and
don't
then
want to talk on that.
But I think that's
no
why
no 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 no.
50-50 relieves some of that stress
No,
that
it's
you're
not. No, it
referring
can't be
to.
50-50, Candy. It can't be 50-50.
I just disagree. That's okay. We can have
No,
a
and that's fine.
disagreement.
We can
We can
disagree.
disagree, but I
We
do
can
think that the
we
kids need both parents. And
They
when you
do. They
have more
do.
of a situation where they're both
But
co-parenting
that's the thing.
healthy
That's the thing.
is a
Most of it is
great
not health.
thing.
Most of it is
But they
not
don't
healthy from
generally
the woman's
co-parent.
part.
That's the
Yeah,
problem. There's no co-parenting.
yeah,
So we've
this
not
is
So
what
even
I'm saying.
tried the
But
co-parenting.
Candy, this is what I'm saying. Majority of women do not know how to regulate. Listen, no matter what you want to say, agree or disagree, okay? Just look into it. You don't have to take my word for it. A man's respect or appreciation will never be equivalent to a woman's feelings. Okay, a woman would ruin her house based on how she's feeling. She would burn the place down to the ground based on how she is what? Feeling. She would decide if she wants to cook and feed you based on how she is feeling. She would decide if she wants to take care of you. You're in the bed laying down with 103 fever based on how she is feeling.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
the
what I'm
other thing.
saying to you is she do not know how to regulate her own feelings.
Yeah, so
That is
yeah,
a problem.
I'm not
she's saying
disagreeing with you.
okay, hold
I'm
on.
not
Yeah, she's saying
disagreeing with you
yeah, no, she's
in
saying pretty
any
much
of
it's
what
like
you're saying.
nurture,
I'm
but
not. I
no,
agree with you. I'm a
yeah,
woman. I know women are emotional. I agree with everything that you're saying.
yeah,
Women
so it's
aren't
pretty
just
I'm
much like
just
emotional.
nurture
saying
versus
that
They're
you will have
destructive.
less of it.
Destructive.
You'll have less of that because now if there is a co-parenting relationship where she's not feeling like all of it is on her. And again, I'm all for women messing up because I think they have been messing up. But what I'm saying is if the women will stand back and allow the men to be a part of their children's lives instead of having their feelings involved, like you said, and determining when the father can see, using the kid as a bargaining chip. When that
Real
stops
quick though.
happening and they become co-parents,
yeah,
But you
and
know
if
what
they're
too as
Real
hold on,
quick.
well.
let me
Real quick.
finish. Let me
Oh my
finish.
God.
Can I finish? Can I please finish?
yeah, go ahead,
And they
Bob.
become co-parents. I think that's the best situation outside of being in the same household. But if you can be great co-parents, it can be a great relationship for the child. It will relieve some of the stress from the woman, and it will also allow the kid to see both sides and hopefully get the love from both sides because they need both parents in this day and age. They just do, regardless of.
I
Idealistically, yes,
I,
but that's not what's happening out here.
no, I
Idealistically,
agree.
Candy, you're absolutely right, but that's not what's happening. It's not.
See, but
Let me
the
say something.
solution would be representation. We need positive representation. And black flight is a big problem because you have a lot of black men that want to be in their kids' lives, that are invested in their kids' lives.
Yep.
However, they don't necessarily they're not seen. You know what I'm saying? So we don't see that aspect. And if you can see it, if you get that positive representation, then it might be more digestible for the women to accept that men do want to be in their
But
kids' lives. You
but
know
I
what I'm saying?
also
And then
say
also, hold on real quick. I'm gonna land my plane in like 30 seconds. In addition to that, you can also see young brothers see that it is obtainable to actually have some custody over your child. They don't know that a lot of people don't realize that that is actually an obtainable goal. So with positive representation and less black flight, because you would see those people still in the community instead of getting the money and then leaving the community, you would see a positive change or a positive impact. And I'm gonna land my plane there.
The
Yeah,
fact
I'm gonna
that the
say
men
something
even
real
have to
quick,
fight is a
Robin.
problem.
like me
Well,
Jesus. I'm sorry.
I will say this real quick, Thriving, and I'm gonna shut up.
yeah,
But
perfectly
on
fine.
the men's part, men need to have more wisdom too. Host the men need to be able to read books, find growth, spiritual, whatever the case may be too. to be strong leaders and tap into leadership. We can't just say that the women are saying what they need to be doing and giving men this responsibility, even with their children. Men need to definitely keep growing, listening to God's words, or walking in God's glory, and still picking up books and trying to be better than he was yesterday. And that's all I got to say as
Yeah,
far as
but
the
if
men.
men see other men doing it, then they can see that that is actually something that they can do as well. For a
But
lot
But
of
I don't
people,
need to
seeing
see
is
that.
believing.
I don't need to see another man. I don't need to see another man doing something to know what my responsibilities is. I do understand what you're saying, and
We're
I
talking about the
respect that.
general. We're talking about general
but
people. Like, I mean,
fellas,
the general population.
but guys, the fact that you guys even have to be fighting in the first place is a huge problem. Like a man can leave, a man can walk away from a relationship and not be walking away from their child. The fact that you even have to be fighting in the first place is a huge problem. And this
No,
is
I
what
agree
I'm
with that.
saying. And this is exactly what I'm saying. It's the fact that you will have people out here hollering, I love my kids so much. I love my kids so much. That's straight up freaking bollocks. That is a lie. You do not love your kids so much, because if you did, you would be putting the kid first and doing what's in the best interest of the kid. And what's the best interest of the kid is not to set up roadblocks so that the kid can't have access to their dad, because you'd understand the nature of the relationship with the dad, both sides.
Yeah,
Okay, this is
That's
why
coming from
a
a
man can't make a
from a
kid by
healthy,
himself.
taking
This is why a
but
responsibility.
man
that's
can't
coming
make a
from a
kid by
healthy
himself and a
woman.
woman can't make a kid by themselves. You need both parties. So you should not be setting up roadblocks, okay, to disrupt the order of nature when it comes to raising the child. That is a
That's a healthy
problem.
woman's perspective, though. I
No,
agree
This
with
is
you.
what
It
I'm
is a
saying. I bet
problem,
you a
but
lot of
that's a
these
no,
women
healthy
are not
woman's
healthy.
perspective.
it
Why
should be
can't
common
you why
knowledge. It should
can't
be
you figure
logic,
that out when you're
not
in a healthy state with each other? Why can't this is
Then
what I
don't be in
suggest to
healthy
men.
states, Candy.
Do it.
This is what I'm saying.
No, I'm talking about
um,
it. When you're first with someone
I'll be
and
back.
you guys are
I'll
good,
deal with this shit.
and you guys are good, you and that person are good, right? You're not upset with each other. You haven't quote
Leave that
unquote
open. Leave that
broken up.
open, dude. Leave
You
that
haven't
open.
quote unquote
But no.
broken up. You're good. That's to me the time where you talk about 50-50.
What's up, baby?
Okay.
That's the time because you now she's in a good state. She's not mad at you. And so you get
On
that
my way.
resolved before anything breaks off, because now you're in a good state. So if when you do, or if you do
All right.
break up, then you're set. But my other question is, why are we having children before we're getting married, and why are we having children with people we don't want to really be with?
See,
That's the
but
other
that
thing.
stuff goes into what Lake Arrington was saying. He was saying that, you know what I'm saying, you need to have people who are knowledgeable about certain situations. Filing for custody doesn't mean that you're like saying screw the other person. It just means that you're actively proclaiming that you want custody over a kid, and you're given a certain percentage of custody because nobody technically owns, or nobody technically has any like ownership over the child until
The woman
you file for
does.
custody.
The
No, no,
woman
yeah,
does.
I know, but that's just because the courts allow that to happen. But if
Correct.
you file for custody, most of the times, if you file first, that person has the better advantage in the court system.
Well, all
no.
I'm
Okay, yeah, hold
saying,
on. Yeah, so it's fine.
inspiring,
Yeah,
is
hold on,
that
hold on.
if you
Yeah,
do it when you're in a good state,
yeah, hold on.
you
Yeah,
two are
so
on the same page,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
Nine
agree.
times out
No,
of ten, you're not gonna have this back and forth. You're still lovey dovey. You guys do it just for the quote unquote protection of the child. In case
well,
something happens, your
but you do
child
it
is
for the protection
protected.
because you know people get a little crazy when things hit the fan. You
That's
know what
my
I'm saying?
point. That's why I think men need to do it
It's like a
when they're in
prenup.
a better state, as
Okay,
opposed
okay,
to
yeah. So sorry,
when you
Doc.
break up.
Hold
Yeah,
on, real quick.
because
Just let
hold on,
Travis say
hold on, it's fine.
something.
Hold on, it's fine. A man and a woman can have a disagreements and go their own separate ways, right? At the end of the day, a man is responsible for his children, and a woman is responsible for her children too, and as well as keeping a father, right? Now, when it comes down to like custody, I feel like the question comes in: how often can a father see his children? Because I feel like the children should always be with their mother, because she has a more like the nurture aspect, right? But
No,
the question
no.
comes to how often can a father be able to see his kids, right? Is it every day, or is it twice a week, right? How many hours? And that's the problem with the
I
system,
have
right?
fifty-fifty with
But
my I
normally,
have
if
50-50 with my baby mom. I have my son for a week, she has him for a week, and we alternate. And then we
and
also
that's
have a
dope,
separate
and that's
schedule
dope,
for
yeah,
what's it called?
For the holidays.
Mary John
Yeah,
Penny.
for holidays and I would say let her out. She might have something that's might answer your question.
Well, here's the thing. You'll stop having kids. Stop having kids with women and men you're not married to. That will fix all this problem. Custody this, custody that,
Thank you,
custody
Tora.
Tuesday, custody on Sunday. Stop it. Stop sleeping around. You're not supposed to be sleeping with people who are not your spouse.
Thank you,
But
Tora.
because you don't have self-control, okay? You don't have
Snack.
self-control. Now you have to have plan A, plan B, C, D, E, and the kids suffer. Please stop. And let me ask you
Thank you,
something.
Tora. Thank you.
Let me ask you all something. Please, somebody answer me. Why is it marriage, right? The decline of marriage is only happening in African American communities. Because not all Black people are having divorces.
No, it's happening in every
The
community in
divorce,
the Western
hang on.
civilization.
Divorce rates are not that high in Africa. Divorce rate are not that high. Not the diaspora in the Bahamas, in Jamaica, right? They're not that high. Why is it happening here in America? Why are you guys at the bottom in marriage? Why is that? That's what you need to answer. You need to figure out why is it as African Americans don't value family, don't value order.
Isolationism,
We don't
individualism.
generally compare ourselves to other countries. I mean, I'm not saying that to
Let
be
me
funny.
ask you
We
this:
generally don't.
even arranged marriages only fair 4%. We're not even talking about people falling in love first. So why is
Isolationism and
it people here cannot
individualism.
take notes from other places and say,
No, I'm
wait, this
telling
is
you,
working in other places, let's try and apply it? What's the problem? There's a formula. Obviously, other
America,
people are doing it. Why are you guys not? That's why you need
the
to
American dream is about isolationism. It's about individualism. It's about
then move out.
selfishness. It's
African
about
countries are
monetary
giving you land
gains.
and money to go live over there, start over, have land, go to education for free, and you can raise your kids in a place where there is not that much racism, where you have land, you can start over there. Why are you not going? Why are you not going to the Bahamas or Jamaica? Listen, there's no more
Well,
excuses.
I'm married in America, so I'm good. Like
No more
I
excuses.
have a
Yeah,
good
but
wife.
your people are hurting though. It's not just about you. Your community's hurting. As a collective, you're not okay. It's
I
not
get,
about
No,
you.
I get
yeah,
what you're
but I'm
saying.
also on here talking about the problems. I'm trying to find solutions and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving active solutions, and I've heard many people give active solutions. This podcast right here that we're on right now has been has been a spearhead for a lot of positive solutions. It's just, is that person going to listen to those things? You know?
Frustrates me, and I'm not yelling and shouting at you. It's just the passion. I've been on these apps and I've listened to you. I don't really think you guys actually want solutions. I think most of you want to be victimized. I think you are stuck in this survival victim mindset. You don't know how to get out. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe let's fix that first.
I
Because
mean,
there's
I
no
agree.
reason
There's a
I
lot of people stuck in the victim mindset.
there is no reason to understand why you're not thriving. There's no reason. You are smart. African Americans, you are smart. You are beautiful. You are capable. You're strong. You're resilient. You're everything under the sun. You are the chosen people of the
When you
most.
say we're not thriving, what does that mean?
You are
We
the
aren't
ones in the
thriving.
marriage category.
So are you only referring to
Yeah,
marriage? Is
thriving,
that what you're
thriving.
referring to?
About marriage right
We're
now.
not thriving
Yeah,
in
yeah,
I
yeah.
just
general.
Hold on,
wanted to
We
make
are
thriving.
sure
definitely
that
not
Hold on,
thriving.
hold on,
that's
hold
what you
on,
were
hold on, hold
talking
on, hold on.
about.
I'll bring
Hold
you
on,
back in a
thriving.
minute, guys.
Yeah, thriving. Oh, well, where you from, sis?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I'm
We
from.
aren't thriving though.
No, no, no,
She's right.
no,
We're
no.
not thriving.
I'm just saying because the only
Driving,
reason why
don't
But
I'm
that
get
don't
upset.
matter
Don't
because
start driving.
yeah,
Don't
no, no,
get
no,
upset.
because I hear what you're saying. You feel
But
me?
you never upset driving.
No, it's she's coming from
I'm just
from
passionate because I know who you people are. I know who you are. You are a priesthood. You are the chosen people. And every time I talk about this stuff, people don't even want to hear it. You don't want to repent from your wicked ways. Your wicked ways is you're going around, sleeping around. STDs are on the rise right now in thousands of thousands. You don't want to stop doing it. You want to keep doing it. And then kids are born out of that. Oh, and then you're like, oh, well, I can take responsibility of that kid because, I wasn't ready. And then the cycle repeat. Come on.
yeah, so thriving, yeah, so thriving. So
Upset
no, no,
driving.
I understand. No, no, I understand what. Sorry, go ahead, host. You about to say something, brother? I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, I just wanted to to kind of add to what you were saying. So I understand where you're coming from. I've been to Africa. I am from Africa, so I understand from from cultural perspective, from African side. You feel me? What how it is over there, and lived I was pretty much born in America. So I understand. So the difference out here, that's why I asked you where you was from. Because it's a fact that like there is a lot of influences that kind of play a part where kids go to
Right.
school for about 8 hours while the parents is working somewhere else, right? And then you have certain kids who don't have a solid structure of parenthood, and they're influenced about the things that they see outside. Like so we have a big part where like majority of our good influences like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and those who have really influence, right, or who have a positive influence, don't have a voice, right? It's others who, you have, rappers, female rappers, you feel me, models who are like the so-called the influences in a sense, right? Who try to project the idea and say, oh, it's okay to be, to be a big woman. Don't work out, why you body shaming me, or differences. Oh, I'm born. It's no disrespect, and I hope none of the females or anybody in the chat or taking it offense, but it's so many different ideas where people say, "Oh, I feel like a grown 40-year-old man can say, oh, I am a so-called woman and the such, right? Respect me how it is." You feel me? Everybody has their own ideas and try to force their ideas, and it's so many different type of influences, out here. It does come from them, but outside of that, there's no control. Our parents do the best as they can and try to do it. You feel me? But once the outside influence comes there, like imagine your kid going to school and they're telling your kid, "Oh, you could be whatever you want. You could be, a little Barbie doll." Telling your son to be a
Adult
Barbie
film.
doll.
Khalid,
You
Khalid,
feel
this
me? And when you try to speak on it, and no, hold on, time. And when you try to speak on it, they're gonna be like, "Oh, how come let him be? Let him be what he want to feel like it, But yeah, they could try to tell you something, but I can't tell my own child, hey, yo, just
I want to hear from the two sisters at the bottom after driving. Go ahead.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. My bad,
Let
I probably
me
overstepped it.
respond to him real quick, and then I'll probably drop host so you can have a box for someone else. Because this kind of conversation just going back in circles and circles and circles, and it's always we are pointing fingers at oppressors, history. Yeah, I mean, America's not the only one that was enslaved. We suffered colonization. Africa is still suffering colonization today. People are unaliving every day. But what can you control? You can control yourself. So maybe if you think that you're gonna have to go to work and your kids are gonna be in school all day while you work, maybe don't have your kids yet until your wife can stay home and homeschool. This is the problem. Nobody's sitting down and having a family plan. You're meeting somebody, your chemicals are going out of whack, and then you hook up, and then you have kids when you're not ready. You have no plan. You have not put together financial budget on how you're gonna support you, your wife, and now two kids, and mortgage a car, insurances, and all that stuff. You have no plan whatsoever. You're just winging it. And
Do
then
you
you
know
come
what
on the
cultural
other end, wait a
relativism is?
minute, inspiring. And then you come on the other end, you say, oh, the schools are teaching my kids this. Why are your kids there? Did they put a pew-pew in your head to put your kids there? No, you did not have a plan. So how about you men who have made it out, right? You men who know a thing or two, sit down with the young men and you coach them. How many hours a week have you given up to volunteer in your community to take on a
40.
son or a boy, hang on, to take on a son or a boy from a single mother household and give them guidance? Ask them about their aspiration and plans and say, you know what, I made a mistake here. I don't want you to make the same mistake. This is what you should do. How many of you do that? But you come on this app, you act like you have all the solutions, but you're not in your communities actually doing the work.
Do,
I am
do
not
you know what
lying.
cultural
I call
relativism
facts.
is?
No, hold on.
I call
Do you know what
facts, and I
cultural
love you
relativism
guys.
is?
I love you guys. I want you guys to do better. I love you. I'm passionate because I know you're hurting, and I know your children are hurting, and your women are hurting, but they don't have to.
No, yeah, no, of
You
course,
don't
absolutely,
have
and I
to.
understand where you're
So
coming
I'm
from.
gonna
You feel
wish you
where
good
you're coming
night. I'm sending love and light. I'm gonna go take care of my children. Okay, I'm gonna do what I'm preaching, and I'll see you guys later.
from. Yeah, hold on. So thriving
Yeah,
before you leave.
driving.
Thriving, you hear me?
I give 68 hours a week towards what you were just asking,
Let
by the
let
way.
Kenna and
Yeah, sorry,
Shakira
yeah, go
speak.
ahead.
We haven't heard from them. Go ahead, sisters. Kenna and Shakira. Go ahead, sisters.
I'm gonna wait a little longer.
Okay. Go ahead, Kana. You there? Okay, she might. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was actually going to go after her. Um, this is the hi.
Hey.
Oh, yeah,
Hey.
Brother,
that's it.
I don't know if you want me to call you bigger play. That kind of like
It's all right. You
that's
good.
fine. Okay, all right.
You can call me
Yes.
Kana.
No, you can't do that. God's only one could not. I'm just gonna call you Chicago. How about that?
All right, Kana.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for letting me up. Very rough night tonight. I don't know what Mr. Chicago's up here doing, but he is causing a ruckus with this topic. Why is marriage on the decline? I think we've already said it. Marriage is on the decline for a few things. That's very interesting because I've done research on this before. And, the first thing that we see why marriage is on the decline, it automatically, almost just when you pull it up, talks about women, the changing societal norms of women, increased economic independence involving nature of relationships, and so on and so on. Women's empowerment, individualism, cohabitation. These things are causing the decline in marriage, the union that you get married by state. Now, although I do believe there's more than one way to skin a cat, okay, that's just the legal part of being married is just one way. That's just one way. Okay. You have the legal part of marriage, you have the religious part of marriage, because to say that you can only be married through legal or via legal proceedings, then that would mean everybody else in other countries are not married because they get married through religion. Like Muslims, they don't get married like we get married, right? They get married through their religion. And so I know that that's just the way we are programmed. A lot of y'all need to go buy a Black Law Dictionary, because even common law and getting a certificate, it this holds the same weight, right? At the end of the day, it's about possessions, finances, property, and all these different things. So we just gotta, split it up, you know. But you do know when you get married by state in the states of the United States of America, technically you are married to the state. You're not technically married to each other, but you can make that vow to one another. I want to say this. I understand that since marriage is declining because of women's empowerment, and one through the feminist movement and things of that sort, or just the individualism, wanting to be by themselves for a whole host of reasons, especially when it comes to Black women. Um, I would say this, Black women, we have heard you say that you are independent. We have heard you say you do not need men, and we do understand that it is because of government incentives, and also the fact that you have done some great things. You've gone to school, you got an education, and you have liberated yourself, and you have also gained, some of you have gained financial independence. And because of that, I will say this to you. Um, you can't have it both ways. By you getting your independence via money, success, or whatever you think you have, you cannot have it both ways. Because this is what I hear, Chicago. I hear women say, I'm independent, I don't need a man, and uh, I don't need nobody helping me, telling me what to do. You're not in authority over me, da 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 da. Da. Why you want to be all these different things, all the submission stuff y'all don't want to do? That's fine. Okay. A lot of masculine men, they're not looking for that anyway. But this is what I will say. You can't have it both ways, because now that you're liberated and you have your financial means, you are independent. And that means you are independent of a man. So the next time you are in Target or the gas station or somewhere in a gym, like these women been woofing on these app lately, and you see a brother and some YT man or some man period is trying to call you out after you opened your big mouth because you was trying to challenge him to a fight, that independence you got through your financial means that you say that you have, lean on that. Don't look for men to come out of nowhere to protect you. See, this protection and stuff that y'all are asking for,
That comes with something. You just can't get it because you got finances and a degree. No, men don't move like that. So unfortunately, you need to wake up. It is okay for you to be independent. I'm all for it. I'm okay. I'm all for the feminist movement. Yes, I am. Being independent and alone. So while doing that, while you go buy your little pew pews and stuff, stop asking these black men to help you while you in Target. Fight
No,
some
no, no. Hold on,
man.
hold on, hold on.
Or
Yeah, hold on.
stand up or stand hold on, brother, because I've waited. Just I've been in the comments. Just let me finish. I'm almost about to land.
Okay.
I promise you, I'm about to
I'm
land.
sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to add just a little bit to the, but go ahead. Sorry. I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah, not right now. Let me just cook this food and I'm gonna serve it, okay? And then you can go ahead and give me a glass of
Say no
water or
more. Say
something.
no more.
So you don't need no man. And so in times of calamity, in times of danger, all those times, don't look for Chicago to come and help you. Now I'm not saying he won't, but I'm saying why are you making it his obligation to do these things when you've already proclaimed your independence? See, all that other stuff don't matter. Who making more and all that stuff and all that. Okay, we get all that. But you do not have the room or the right to ask men to help you when you have said you are independent. Because see, really, men need to really take their stuff back. That house you living in, a woman did not build that. That car that you driving, a woman did not make that. The freeway that you drive along on the day, I know from the 10 freeway all the way over across the whole other side of the states, you didn't build that. The planes that are built by men to put you on to go on these girls' trips, see, they need to just take all this stuff back and then we gonna see who really winning. Because see, what if you have done is you have gotten above correction. Nobody can tell you nothing. That's why y'all just lost 106,000 jobs in April. Because people are tired of you and your independent, bitter frustration spirits that y'all have. Your attitudes are bad. That's why the police chief out there in Virginia, wherever she was, said she don't even want to hire black women, followed by Hispanic women. Because why? The attitude. So I don't have a problem with all of the stuff that the young lady said. The only thing that I do have a problem with is this, the disrespect, Chicago. And I know these conversations can get heated sometimes, but y'all have to remember, just because you don't believe in something, somebody else does. I've been reading the Bible since I was 5. And I don't just read it, I examine it. I research. I do other things with that Bible. That Bible has helped me do a lot of things. And for you to come up here, or that woman to come up here and say that that Bible, that book, no, it's not just a book. It's a lifesaver. It's a game changer. Okay? It helps men and women be delivered and healed by the almighty power of God in which you do not believe. But see, when you hit your toe on the corner of that wooden table, you say, "Oh my God, that hurt." Thought you didn't believe in him. I thought he didn't exist. So all I'm saying is we have to realize that people do have beliefs and we shouldn't be disrespectful for that. Another thing, when Earth Goddess was speaking and she put in the comments, she said, well, she's not saying anything of substance. See, everything that woman was saying had no substance either. And I'm not saying that Miss Earth Goddess didn't, but how is substance proclaiming on a platform that you are a partner and you don't want to work with a man in his authority? Because see, what makes him authority, well, I don't have to use the Bible. I can show you why. By nature, I can show you why in other instances why men are in authority. See, y'all cry about this so-called financial gap, this wage gap, and I believe it's there, but you don't want to go work on the 10 freeway to build it from California all the way over to Florida. You don't want to do that. You don't want to work in the longshoremen down in Alaska where they make bank. Men dominate most of these jobs. See, you don't want to do electrical work on the seas and the they take all the cargo and all that stuff and they have to fight these seas and stuff. That's what men do. See, you could do that too though. But see, the problem is you want to just make a fight. But you could do all that. You could close this gap, but you don't want to do. You want the soft life. That's all, y'all. talk about is the soft life. And a man ain't really tripping off of giving you that, but you need to bring something with that. So with all the stuff that y'all say that you don't need, understand you cannot have it your way. You cannot have it both ways. You're gonna have to pick a struggle, sister. You're gonna have to figure out if you want to be independent or interdependent. And I'm gonna land my plane right there.
Well, host, do you want anybody else to speak before I say something? Or Stack new to it, so.
We'll follow you.
Lady Goddess came up. She's speaking. Then Stack can speak. Then we can get back to you.
For sure. You know, I want to give everybody a chance before I want.
Just need to let that sizzle in your spirit, Mr. Khalid. I'm just
No.
playing.
I definitely heard it. You feel me? And I definitely, I just wanted to like I say, it's certain things I do agree with, and other things that I don't. And I just wanted to speak on how I feel about it too, as well.
So,
So it's up to to host to decide, to speak.
He did decide, colored. I'm just gonna say, there's a huge difference between being an independent woman and being a capable woman.
Absolutely.
Okay?
And that's all I'm trying
A
to
woman
explain.
should only look to be capable, never independent. It's a huge difference. Okay? In the absence of a man, I am capable. I'm capable of changing the light bulbs, maybe if my little small self go and get a ladder and change it. Okay? But in my big age, I don't even know what that is because I have man who's always run to my rescue. Even though I don't have a man living in my home, I have men who always run to my rescue. But the point here is that I'm not independent. I'm a capable woman in the absence of a man. Okay. And women like to think that just because they're going out there and they're getting these degrees and making more money than maybe their mom made, all of a sudden you're this independent woman. Yes, so you do still need man for things. It's nonsense. It's foolishness. I've heard nothing on this app all day but freaking foolishness. From earlier when we was on at 8 o'clock till now. And it's frustrating and it's very emotional because I don't understand what or majority of these women not understanding.
Yeah, Earth.
It's like,
Yeah, can
yeah,
I
yeah.
add to that real quick? If you don't
I'm
mind?
sorry.
Yeah, can I add on to that from from a man's perspective? And you really had a good point too. Is woman said like she said like and Shania, like it's nothing wrong with as far as like independence, right? Like being like it's really hard to raise children on your own, right? Trying to figure out like okay, like of course you had a bad relationship. Nobody's disagreeing with saying that either the woman was bad or the man was bad. It happens, right? People do separate. People don't get along, right? And the man didn't take no responsibility in anything like that, right? But when you say that I could do this on my own, or trying to take care of all the load, because at the end of the day, like from a woman to like a woman's perspective, she will address things coming off by emotions, right? Especially trying to raise a young black man in America as a single mother, right? Or even a young black woman, a young black girl in America as a single mother. It's not easy, and we all know that, right? And everybody in this chat right now, or everybody in this little group right now, we're older. We're not young kids right now. We're not
Brother,
18, 18
what
something.
are you saying? I
No,
really
I'm
don't
saying because
understand
you
what you're
mentioned
saying to
no,
my
you
point because I
mentioned
didn't.
no,
You
you
have to
mentioned
clarify. I think the first thing to do, the intelligent thing to do, would be to ask me to clarify something because I don't think we're saying the same thing.
no. I just
So,
want to
what are
break
you
it down
trying to
before I get to
say?
my point. I know I was trying to break it down, before I get to my point. All I'm
Look,
saying
you're
is that
taking my entire time to talk
Eh,
about what point that I'm trying to really find it right now. And I'm really trying to be gracious, okay? Because I don't like to intervene with stuff with men. Okay. I'm really trying to be gracious, but yeah, I'm very peeved. I'm very, very peeved tonight. Because I've heard nothing but foolishness all night.
no, I can tell. So, Earth, are you from London?
I'm sorry?
Are you from like London, like in
I'm
Europe?
I'm a Jamaican native, grew up in London. I live in the States.
Oh, that's dope. But you grew up in
I
you was
just said
born in
it. I
Jamaica.
grew
You
up
was
in
born
I
in
grew up
Jamaica.
in London. I just said it.
Oh,
I'm
that's
in the
dope.
States.
Okay,
Hmm.
that's dope. That's no, no.
I think that's what she's saying is she would like to finish her point because she let you talk and then you kept going. I think she wants to finish.
Yeah, so in the to my point, and even a girl before, you feel me? She has a different perspective because she comes from a different cultural and more of a where women have have a lot of pressure on them in a sense because being African, I've been seeing this all this stuff. You feel me? So I'm gonna let it be. You feel me? I can't speak on a woman's behalf, but I know Earth. I could tell. That's why I texted her earlier. I said, "Yo, I know you about to say something because I know you feel it. You feel me?" And she not coming from a place of like trying to disrespect or anything like that, but a place of like it's common sense. Like it should be. Like it's not that hard to figure out. To understand from a difference between a man's role and a woman's role. I'm gonna leave it at that. I can't speak for, but go ahead, Earth.
Thank you so much. So, to answer your prompt, because I never answered it earlier, okay, why is marriage on the decline? Marriage is on the decline because there's no benefits to marriage for man anymore, okay? And on top of that, men are getting everything without having to be married. So why would I marry you? Where's the point? I could have all of these children in this house with my last name, except for you, okay? I've been with you for umpteen years. Marriage is never the requirement until after the fact that I done moved on with my life. Then now that you're complaining that I didn't marry, there's no benefits there. Okay. People are not choosing or picking from the right place to even decide to get married. Everyone is meeting, having lunch, having dinner, having oops babies, and having lengthy long years situationship. Okay. No one is teaching women how to become wives. Women are out here thinking that they can teach boys how to be men. Okay. Women are out here raising these same boys to be men, quote unquote man, let me put that in quotations, and then complaining about those said men. It's a bunch of anarchy going on. It's a bunch of nonsense. Nobody's following the natural order of things. And until we get back to the natural order of things, nothing will change. Okay, you have people coming up here spewing all types of hateful rhetoric. People are freaking covert feminists. Okay, they want to lead the younger generation of women to stray because the women actually hates other women. Okay, I'm gonna say if nobody's gonna say it. Okay, so it's like they want to live in this independent mindset and you actually don't realize the detriment that you're doing. Or maybe they do. I can't even say that they don't because they're fighting tooth and nail to continue doing all of the bullshit that they've been doing that is obviously not working. And it's only really destroying one group of people because nobody else are having these issues because everybody else understand order. Without order, there's nothing but chaos. And this is what we're having. And it's very frustrating. It's very overwhelming. It's very emotional because guess what? I have a son that's probably going to have to grow up and deal with one of y'all trifling ass daughters. And I have a problem with that. I have a serious problem with that. I would be damned if my son come home and bring one of y'all daughters to me. I would be pissed as shit. I will pay her just to get away. And I know she'll take it because money is above all else. I will pay her to get away from my kid. Okay? In today's climate, I would be very unpleased if my son bring home a Black American girl to me and say, "Oh, mom, I like her. I want to date her. I want to reproduce with her. I want to marry her." I would be pissed as shit. I want to be pissed as shit. I'm gonna be livid because I'm gonna be looking at her family tree, looking at her mom, looking at her grandmom, looking at her aunties, looking at everybody, and I'm gonna say, absolutely not. Because in a couple of
Amen.
years, they're gonna bring nothing but problems to my son. The next thing you know, I can't see my own freaking grandkids. Okay?
Amen.
This is the culture. This is the culture. And of course, for all of the ignorant people that's going to have something to say, of course, I'm not saying every single Black American woman. That is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying on the larger scale, this is what it is because they don't even believe in marriage. They think that shacking up and having babies is the same. Okay? It's not. It is really not. I worked freaking COVID 2020. And let me tell you something. In 2021, the type of things that was happening, a woman coming in there having 5 kids with a man. Well, guess what, ma'am? Are you his wife? No, I'm not. Well, guess what? I need his next of kin, his mom or his children. I can't even give you his freaking cell phone. Okay? This is how stupid and dense you guys are. I can't even give you this man's cell phone that you've been living with for how long and produce all of these children with. I'm gonna have to answer to that. I can't tell my nurses to sign over. Oh yeah, give it to such and such because she's his baby mom of the last 23 years. Nope, can't do it. So it's like there's no requirements, there's no standards, and it's like you guys are not finding the value and realizing how you're raising your children. Okay, they're gonna grow up to be adults. You're breaking the children from young and you're teaching them this perpetuated cycle of fuckery. Okay, you're having babies, you're having your babies, and you're handing them off them to strangers. As soon as what, 6 months to freaking 2 weeks, 2 months old, because you want to run back to work because there's no structure, then you're gonna put them in a freaking school system where you have no say so over your children. You can't even be dictating what your children are eating. You don't find that to be a problem. It's a major problem. Then you're complaining about how your children are being raised. You don't have control over your own children that you gave birth to. You have no autonomy. Other than the fact that you're buying them a bunch of fucking cell phones, excuse my French, cell phones and tablets to keep them quiet because you actually don't want to parent. So you're giving little kids cell phones to mess up their retinal at a young age before it's even developed properly.
Yeah, and being
Their, syn-
influenced too.
their synopsis aren't even developed. Okay? And you're giving them cell phones and tablets. They have ungodly hours of the television. Who's programming them also? They following other little stupid kids on YouTube, okay? Because you want to have your peace and quiet. There's no
Yeah, I make them
structure,
go.
there's no order.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
until we get
Earth,
back to
Earth, Earth,
structure and order,
Earth.
nothing is going to change. And it's very frustrating to see. It's very frustrating to see people pushing through my ED department with little kids, okay? Because a kid done had an accident, because you're not paying attention to the kid. Okay, then you're blaming the kid. Then you're blaming a 3-year-old. Okay? For
Yeah,
putting their
Earth.
hand on a hot surface because you're not paying attention. So you know what I do? I get your ass locked up because that's child abuse.
No, no,
I
no,
don't
Earth,
care.
Earth, Earth, Earth,
I'm
Earth.
sick of you people now.
No, Earth, no, 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 Earth, Earth. So like, you definitely coming from, are you a mother? You got kids, I'm guessing.
I have 3 children, yes.
Okay, and then on top of that, Jamaican and from European descent, or I mean, a European background.
Khaled, what's your
Right.
point? I'm not in the mood tonight. I'm being very
No, it's all
graceful.
right.
I'm
It's
not being
okay.
disrespectful. What is
So
your point?
like,
Get to it,
no,
please.
because like I said, so I understand from like both perspectives, and I've been mentioning that. You feel me? And now I can't speak for the other sisters in the chat right now who are like American, because I'm mainly raised in America. So this is how like outside countries view and look at America, thinking out how we how we are. You feel
Outside
me?
country,
I'm
Khaled, I've
talking
been living in America. I'm gonna be
how
36
long
in
though? I'm just
September.
saying, like
I've been living in America. I've been traveling to the States since I was 8 years old.
right. So
I've been a
okay,
US citizen since I was 8 years old. I've been traveling here. I went to university here. I've done my residency here. I'm an attendant here. I live here. I raise my children here. But I'm also a very cultured woman, a very structured woman,
right.
a very
Okay,
woman that was trained how to be
Let them
respectful
talk.
towards man. Oh, no, he cut
yeah.
me off.
One,
Okay, and I'm trying to wait for him to get to his point. He's been doing that all night, and I've been nothing
I'm
but
trying
graceful
to
and respectful,
because
and I'm
I know.
waiting for you to get to your point,
No,
sir,
no, no. I'm
respectfully.
saying like no. I'm saying I do agree with you, but at the same time, I know where your emotions are coming from too. You feel me? And I'm trying to like explain why you feel like that, and
Well, I feel like what exactly?
how you feel like people who are in America do certain things or act a certain way, or what they are. You feel me? Without having like a full understanding. You feel
I
me?
do have a full understanding,
No,
sir.
no,
I'm a
no, hold
part
on,
of the
hold on, hold on.
community.
Because at the end of the day, like I'm Somali. You feel me? And I done traveled. You feel me? Been back and forth to
Okay,
different countries. I've been to Amsterdam, Dubai,
okay,
Somalia, Kenya, Ethiopia. You feel me? Been in London, all of that, right? So I
okay,
understand how the point of views that people have, especially every time when they hear me, like, "Oh, you from America," and they always
okay,
have something to
Khaled.
say.
Yeah,
No, I'm just saying. So I no,
No,
so I
can we
understand where the
stop
emotions are
him,
coming from and what you're trying to
please?
say, right? But at the same time, when you try to point a certain
Let
picture,
them play host.
you
Let him land it. Go on,
go
land it,
ahead,
brother.
Khaled. I'm listening, Khaled.
no, I'm just saying, like, so
Mac, what's up, baby?
so it's just like I said, you feel me? I agree with you, but at the same time, it's not as simple
as a young black man being raised in America, right? You saying that, oh, we don't have no control or no say or what they do in school and whatnot, right? So and
Do
then
you?
and no, hold on. And one of the biggest problems is the fact that, you feel me, it's a lot of families are separated, right? So father may not be there for his child, mother's taking care of the child while they're working, right? And the kid is at school almost 8 hours throughout that day, from literally like 8 a.m. to like 3 to 4 p.m., 5 p.m. almost,
You
right?
don't find that to be suspicious? You don't find that to be a problem? That
No,
is a
but I'm just
problem.
saying,
That's a
no,
major
so,
problem.
okay, so hold on. I'm just saying, like, so now those who have certain control or certain things, like, now, and you have to think about too. You have to think about poverty, right? Places in the hood, places that don't have access and go to, because we have something called public schools, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
children, certain foods, buses taking all of that, right? And like I
Mm-hmm.
said, there are kids who have both parents who come from a good background, have good positive influence, and there are kids who just only have a single mother who, after the kids go to school, she going to work, and throughout the 8 hours or 7 hours they're at school right now, are being influenced by kids who don't have really good influences, right? Or being influenced by outside. Once they come back home, now the kids is outside being influenced by older
And
kids, right?
again, you don't find that to
Introduce.
be a
Oh no,
problem?
no, hold on, hold on. It is a problem, but it's like it's only so much control, and not only that. Okay, not only
Oh
that,
my God.
and I'm just saying. You mentioned too, kids have access to iPads, to phones, and everything, right? Now they look at their favorite rapper, they
Why?
favorite,
Why?
the
Why,
favorite,
Khaled? Why?
no, because there's so much influence, and the parent is
Why
that
do they
by
have
the time
access
they
to
come
phones
home,
and tablets
by
at
the
a young
time a
age?
single mother
Why,
comes home,
Khaled?
I'm saying by the time a single
Why?
mother, I know it's not lies, and I'm
No, I
like I
said
said,
why. I said
no.
why. Why do they have access to those things at such a young age? Why, Khaled? Is that a necessity? Is that a necessity? Yes or
Okay,
no?
okay, hold on,
Is it a
okay,
necessity?
hold on, okay, no, I would say yes and no, because the
Yes. Oh
iPad,
my goodness.
they could use that to research if they're
No.
doing their
What
homework,
is a
if they're
three-year-old
doing history,
researching?
if they
What
want
is
to
a
learn.
three-year researching? What is a 3 year researching?
So
You're a
okay,
little
hold on. So
scrambled,
the
bro.
same way I'm using my phone right now to be on this live and understanding from
No.
one
Are you
another,
comparing
I can
yourself to
also
a
use it for other
3 year old?
influences.
Are you
I
comparing
could be on
yourself
the
to a
hub right now.
3 year old?
I could be on the hub right now. You
Khaled,
feel
are
me?
you comparing yourself to a 3 year old? Is that what I'm
She didn't
hearing?
say
I'm not
you. She
comparing. I'm
said
just saying
children,
it's
bro.
the
You a
access
child?
and the choices that the kids have. The parent.
Khaled,
I'm just
Khaled,
saying the parent can
Khaled.
only do so much, especially if it's a single
Khaled,
parent.
Khaled. Then if so, so let me tell you something. If you aren't taking your job seriously, I mean seriously that you're willing to sacrifice and lay down your life for your children. That's how serious it is to be a parent. Well, then don't come at me with this. They could only do. Then don't have kids. Go get castrated. Do
It's
not have
not. It's
children.
not that they're not doing it.
Do not
It's
have children.
no.
Don't have
It's.
children. A woman
I
should
have a
should
daughter. I have a
automatically
daughter. So
just
yeah.
become sterile. And a
Uh,
man also do not have children if you aren't willing to take on this responsibility with every fiber of your being. What are you talking about?
You okay?
What
Okay? So
research is a
you,
three-year old
if
doing
you
that
was a
they need to
single
have a
mother,
phone or a
no, I'm just saying.
tablet?
Yeah, I'm just saying. If you was a single mother that was
I would
living,
never be a single mother in life. My dad would not allow that.
I'm just saying. Never say no. I'm
I'm not. I'm
okay.
saying
So
never.
okay.
I'm saying,
I know.
listen. I have 14 sisters and 10 brothers. If my brother get a woman pregnant right now, he have to marry her. No ifs, ands, or
No,
about
absolutely.
it.
And
No ifs, ands, or about it.
I understand
So
that.
no, it would not
So
happen.
you have a different cultural background and a certain standard or certain structure,
My
right?
womb would be ashamed to carry a
Compared to
child, and I'm
can I
not
ask
married.
something, man?
compared to
This may
We're
I
compared.
gonna
interject?
pass that mic
Yeah,
around, Khaled. Go ahead,
yeah.
Stack.
Yeah, my bad. I know.
Let me say
Earth,
something, man.
I'm not
Let,
super
let's get
religious
a
like that. I'm
different
just saying
voice
it's a
on
little
it.
bit more difficult than
So, Khaled,
what's
one
up, Zach?
thing.
Talk to me.
So, one brother to another. You missing the point what she's saying. I need you to really listen to what I'm saying, right? So, she's basically talking about parenting, bro. So, when she's discussing parenting and the responsibility that goes into parenting, what she's saying is that falls on you, right? So if your child, if a 13-year-old kid is out there getting arrested and doing all these things, you got to check the parents about that first, bro. You can't
Facts.
go to the 13-year-old. What's going on in the child's house, right? To make this kid be delinquent like that, right? So what she's saying is, when she mentioned about the tablets, you started saying what you could do with the tablet. That's how you could tell you kind of off and what you can't understand what she's saying. So I agree with her. Why do these kids got tablets? Because the parents are too lazy to think of constructive things for them to do without the internet. You got to think, we didn't have the internet all the time. We had to be creative in our households, right? You don't understand that.
No, I
We
do
had to
understand that because
hold
I
on,
grew
let
up
me
on that,
finish.
brother.
So you
I grew
cannot
up with a single
listen, bro.
mother, a single African mother that didn't speak English. I grew up in a
Okay, all right. So listen, this is what you didn't understand what she was saying, and it was simple. Everybody
I
got
told
it
her I
but you.
did, but I told her I agree with her, but I told her it's not as
Yeah, but
simple
you
as that,
always
brother.
had this pushback, bro. You kept saying stuff like, you kept saying you could use the tablet. I use it for research. And she was talking about children, bro. And you was putting yourself on the same level as children. See, that's how you could tell that
No.
hold on.
Go ahead, sorry, go ahead, my bad.
Parenting is more than just giving your kid a tablet when you want to go to bed and be, you know what I'm saying, quiet and you want to shut the kids up. Look, I work in the business, right? I see this all the time, right? I see parents stuffing their kids with things just so they could listen. They having babies but don't want to be parents. That's a
Exactly.
responsibility,
Yeah,
bro. Your
exactly.
responsibility is to rear your children up push them into a world to be productive adults. That's your job as a parent. You're not supposed to rear your child up to be like not a part of like the culture that pushes everything forward. So what she's saying is spot on, man. That the parents are raising these kids not to be productive in society. They raising them with the same faults that they have. You understand? So if it's like the blind leading the blind. So if I'm doing these things and my kid is following behind me, and it's generational cycles, they keep repetitively repeating itself. And what she's trying to say is the solution is it starts with parenting. Maybe if you don't want to have children, let's talk about harm reduction. Let's talk about how you can practice safe sex. Let's go get your tubes tied. Because look, 5 years ago when I worked in the shelter, I was a director of social service. You know what they was doing in the shelter, bro? They was having more babies, bro, in the shelter.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Bringing more kids into a shelter situation. So what I'm saying is, Earth Goddess, is she's spot on, man. It's a culture and it's in America.
You know, I'm not.
I'm not even offended
I
by
apologize,
what
brother.
she says
I
because
just need 30 seconds, brother. I apologize, brother.
30 seconds, bro. Go ahead, bro.
30 seconds, right? So, like, Stack, to answer that, right? You know, I grew up with a single Somali mother. You hear me? I grew up around Asians. You feel me? Only one of the only few Somali kids, right? I'm going to school right now, and I see, and my mother could hardly speak English at that time. You know, growing up, right? And now I see my homeboys, you know, my friends, all that rocking Reeboks. You feel me? That whole, you know, tall tee. You feel me? With the little, you know, or either, you know, a North Carolina Jordan jersey. And I'm asking my mother, like, hey, mom, hey, can you grab me this, right? And she gonna do a single mother, right, trying to do the best for her kids, right? And a mother will lead by emotions and love, right? Because she's by herself, especially not understanding. And I'm coming from my perspective. You hear me? And I ain't gonna lie, nothing about this boy. Like literally, I swear to God, boy, getting bullied mother all the time. Oh, you African booty scratcher, you such and such. I'm dealing with this. I apologize for
But what's that have to do with the solution, bro? You bringing it
Right.
up to yourself and what your mom's did.
my point is, I'm just saying, my point is, it's not like I disagree with her, bro. But it's circumstances for certain families or a certain group of people that grew up in certain areas or certain situations.
So I'm
Not
talking
as
on the
easy as
majority,
it's
Khaled.
not easy. So a single mother wants to do the best for
Khaled,
her kids, right? If her kids say, "Hey, moms,
it's
over
the
my
best thing that
iPad,"
she could do is not be a single mom. This is what I'm saying to you. Okay,
so like I
I'm
said,
saying
you acting like
some
it's by
cases are
choice. It's not by
circumstantial. Yes,
choice.
yes. Majority of it is by
Choice. What are you
choice.
It's
talking
not
about,
by
bro?
Majority of
choice.
it is by choice. Unless her husband has died. I'm sorry, guys. Can you put some fruits in the chat? I'm sorry. Unless a
Yeah,
woman is
TikTok shop, yeah.
unalived, okay, is deceased, all right, or some I'm sorry, exigent circumstances, okay, then it's by choice, love. It's by choice. And I'm sorry. I don't care if it's your mom, my auntie, my cousin, my sister. It's by choice. Okay. I'm not biased to it. I'm not partial. It's by choice. The best thing a mom could do is not be a single mom and understand the role of a man when it comes to the children. All right. I'm sorry that that happened to you. But however, circumstances do happen. But I'm speaking on the larger scale, the majority, and not anecdotally. Okay. So I'm not talking about you or your mom. I'm talking overall.
Of course,
Can,
and like I
hey,
said,
can,
I
can
do
I
not
say
disagree
something,
with
bro?
you, sis. Literally, I swear, I
Or
really don't disagree
Marcus.
with you. And we understand this type of, because we have different, certain
Okay.
cultural and structure and everything. You feel me? I just don't want you
Hey,
to
Marcus, man, go ahead. You gotta say something, bro.
generalize
Okay.
anybody. But go
Marcus,
ahead,
go
go
on.
ahead.
Hey,
Marcus,
I'm
just
trying to
jump in
say
there.
something. I don't want to cut nobody off.
And then let the sister over Oyula, let us speak. Kuala, we'll let you speak after the brother Mark.
Hey,
Go ahead, Mark.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mark.
All right. So I know about a lot about international people, man. And I've been around international people, man. And I traveled the whole world and everything. And I had the pleasure of doing that in the military, and I see different cultures and everything, right? Uh, I'm gonna tell you something, man. When I with my wife, right? When went overseas and got the love, I was polite and everything and did everything, man. And I got so much love, man. And it's like I was damn near falling in love over there. Wasn't no sex involved or anything like that. I came back and told my wife, I said, hey, I was so spoiled over there in every country. I said, you need to get right. I told my wife that. I said, you need to get right. Like how you treating me, it is jacked up. But I just had to make that point. But what I'm saying is she is absolutely right, right? When you're it doesn't matter if you're dealing with Chinese, Japanese, Africa, or anything like that, right? There is a culture that even if they come to America, they're not gonna like leave their culture or anything like that. Like you have to be worthy. You have to be worthy. So when women are choosing to marry, you have to prove yourself. They know everything that's going on. Think about like with the passport bros, how them boys is going over there. They know what time it is. They going over there mainly, yeah, they looking for wives. A lot of times they are looking for wives, but they are looking for sex. And a lot of women know that. And a lot of men and when a lot of these women are saying they know what it is, like how American men is. Now they're judging us. Yeah, it may be unfair because they don't know the struggle of what it is going on. But how about this? Listen to what they're saying. How about what she's saying is follow the blueprint. Just just don't be no shitty ass dude. Just don't do it. Just be a stand up dude. How about that? Like, and I guarantee you, if if many men just be a damn stand up dude, man, and quit trying to be, trying to play everything to field, and try to smash every goddamn thing, man. And honestly, if we do that, a lot of American women wouldn't shit on us. But they see that shit. They're getting their information off social media and everything. So when women, especially African women that come over here and they hear this, they're gonna judge too. They're not Americanized, they're just like, you just don't need to be this. Like, think about it. Like in the internet, man, the internet is undefeated, bro. What you do, what you put out there, especially on the black culture, people see that shit, and that's what they think. So I do.
I hope you enjoyed it because I did. It's a two-part situation. So the two parts. Part one now, part two coming up.
pastors lying to the public. They ain't got the truth in them. Lights out, gas off, boot listed city pimping. Blocks on fire cause the homeowners broke as fuck. Taxes up, water bill higher than a Civic truck. It's a bigger play, a bigger play. Death before dishonor is the only way.